not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, Guerrilla Cricket.
Oh, Brian Kevin. Oh, it says it all. We're back. Guerrilla Cricket is back. I've missed you so much. I don't know what I've done with myself for the last 8 weeks. I think I've mainly slept. But good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk. Wherever you may be in the world, welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. It's the beginning of a new Guerrilla winter season, and we are so excited. We have 5 maybe not that excited. 5 T20s, and then we have 2 test matches which will not count towards the World Test Championship. But England will be displaying a few new players, which will be very interesting to see. I am Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, sometimes known as Cat Sitting Hendo, because sometimes I go and sit for cats. And on my left, I have the mighty Bish. It is Tony Bishop 1.
Hello,
himself. Hello. It's almost as if we haven't seen each other, but actually we've been on the piss most of the night. And on my right, also on the piss with us tonight, we've been to a fabulous quiz, which was run by the absolutely brilliant charity Cricket Without Boundaries. We've been there, and we've we didn't disgrace ourselves. I think we came about fourth out of
joint fifth.
Joint fifth, we think, out of about...
That's basically
No, out of about 8. So we did quite well. It was a fiendishly hard quiz, I have to tell you. But we kept our end up. And that was the voice you may have heard briefly of Nakul Mpandi on my right, who is... he was wearing the most beautiful... He's covered it up now. It's a fabulous shirt. One of the best shirts I've seen since Dan Norcross. It's an absolute... Where did you get that shirt from?
This shirt is from Old Navy in America. It was bought for me by my partner.
You have to go to America to get a shirt like that. I understand. Well, we are going to bring you team news. What we were going to bring you is team news. But first, we're going to tell you that England have won the toss in the first T20 at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch. And they have chosen to field. And Nakul Mpandi, wearing his glorious shirt, is going to tell you the team news.
Yes, indeed. So for England, a few debutantes. Lewis Gregory and Pat Brown making their international debuts. Sam Curran making his T20 international debut. Double Curran for the first time in senior England international colours. But we'll start with the home team. Martin Guptill's back, having missed the part of the Sri Lanka series with an injury. He's back at the top of the order with Colin Munro. Tim Cypher is keeping. He'll be batting 3. Ross Taylor at 4. Colin de Grandam at number 5. Daryl Mitchell, no, not that one, at number 6. Mitchell Santner, yes, that one at number 7. Scott Kugelheim at number 8. Captain Tim Southey at number 9. Kane Williamson is missing this series with an injured right hip, so Tim Southey continues having captained New Zealand to a series win in Sri Lanka. Ish Sodhi plays double wrist spin. Both Santner and Sodhi are both in the top 10 ranked for T20 national bowlers. And the fast and furious Lockie Ferguson brings up the tail for England. Johnny Bairstow and David Milan open with no Tom Banton, alas, which seems a little bit odd for the start of a new series, the start of the Silverwood era. James Vince at 3, Captain Owen Morgan at 4, keeper Sam Billings back after his injury that kept him out of the World Cup at 5. Lewis Gregory will come in at 6, Sam Curran at 7, Tom Curran at 8, Chris Jordan at 9, Arthur Rashid at 10, and Pat Brown at number 11.
Pat Brown sounds more or less like someone who might be in EastEnders, but apparently a very good bowler. I haven't seen a lot of him, I have to say. Nakul and Tony, you saw him in
year before last.
He
pretty much won Worcestershire the T20 in 2017,
right,
and made a pretty good fist of the finals day on 2000.
That was extraordinary, wasn't it?
2019.
19. Yeah, I'm thinking 18. Yeah,
18. He was the leading wicket taker in the Blast. This year, Worcestershire came past Nottinghamshire in one of the most extraordinary chokes from Nottinghamshire.
Amazing, wasn't it?
But Pat Brown bowled very well in both the semi and the final. Is quick enough, has a very good knuckleball, has a very good off-cutter. Yeah, he'll be going. Chris Jordan, who's kind of become the leader of this England T20 pace attack. The Curran brothers, obviously. Al Rashid is a brilliant white ball bowler. Lewis Gregory bowls a bit as well, although in the T20 setup he's most known for his lower order hitting. He's ferociously powerful. Yeah, it's obviously with Tom Banton, Saki Mahmood and Matt Parkinson all missing out, as well as Joe Denley, who's injured. Obviously that's 3 potential debutants who are sitting out of this first T20 International. We hope to see them all through the series, through potentially very exciting players, and a pretty well settled New Zealand team, really. It's mostly the same team that played. In fact, only 3 changes from the team that played that last game in Sri Lanka. Hamish Rutherford, who came into Martin Guptill in that game, flew halfway around the world to face one ball from Lasith Malinga, who took in the middle of a spell of 4 for 4 in 4 balls. 4 for none in 4 balls.
I do like that notion that you can fly halfway around the world and do nothing, or even the whole way around the world and do nothing.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he faced a ball.
He faced what? He faced
He
faced a brilliant in-swing Yorker from Lasith Malinga.
He put his pads on. I mean, for goodness sake, what do you expect of a guy these days? Now, Lockie Ferguson, interesting. I was looking at the teams last night, and Lockie Ferguson is playing in the first 3 of these T20s, and then Trent Boult comes back into the equation for New Zealand, which is interesting.
Yes, for the last 2.
Has he got a problem at the moment?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a certain amount of rotation. New Zealand have got quite a few good fast bowlers to pick from. Obviously, Matt Henry not taking any part in this T20
for the last 2, isn't
That's
he?
right, yeah. Obviously, Trent Boult will be key to New Zealand's attack during the Test series, so a certain amount of rotation, and you've got a lot of good players to fit in.
Well, I think that's going to be the thing for this whole series. It's about rotation and experimentation, and I think both sides will do it to a certain extent. Possibly England more than New Zealand, but I think that's one of the things that makes it attractive and interesting, this series.
Yeah, well, we were told.
I am quite excited.
Yeah, I'm quite excited now that I've got here, and it's actually very sunny. But we were told that the maximum temperature may only be 14 degrees, which is probably more than it is in Sydenham, but not exactly glorious.
It looks like opening the bowling in his first ever T20 International.
Is he a batter or bowler?
Sam Curran.
What's his distinguishing feature?
Sam Curran.
His dad's from Zimbabwe.
Sam Curran.
And he's beloved by Liz Yates.
Sam Curran.
He is beloved of Liz Yates, who I think is on her way to America very soon. But anyway, we shall see. He's just taking his guard, Martin Guptill, to face the first ball. A good crowd in at the Hagley Oval. It's an absolute picture. It's a beautiful
Martin Guptill, you say?
I do.
This little piggy went to market, and this little piggy stayed at home. Martin Guptill.
That's the bloke, that's the chap, and he is a fabulous batsman when he gets going in this form of the game. Well, we'll come to your tweets very shortly. We have a slip. We have a man at on the 45. There's not Al Rashid, I don't think. Anyway, in comes Curran. Is defended very firmly and very nicely right in the middle of the bat by Martin Guptill, and pushes the ball up to mid-on, and there is no run. Now, we will be coming to your tweets. There must be people joining us all around the world. Who are you, and who are you, and why are you?
Definitely are. By the Minute Cricket is saying, hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Denzel Dumfries in Galloway says, where's Titmus?
Well, he's asleep. He can't do these sort of nights, and he doesn't like this form of the game. In comes Curran over the wicket, bowls and beats Guptill as he drives at that one. He gets applause from Sam Billings, who is enclosed in the gloves today in favour of Johnny Bairstow. And nicely taken. It's great to see Billings back. I mean, Billings had a fantastic end to the season. I mean, it was a very difficult season for him in England, where he was struggling from injury.
Horrible shoulder injury, didn't he?
But he came back and then scored 3 consecutive centuries right at the end of the summer.
Made it into the cricketer team of the year squad.
Oh, I didn't know
that. On the back of that, yes, he did.
In his last game for England, he basically won a game, T20 against the West Indies, single-handedly. A brilliant innings.
In St Kitts, I think it was. In comes Curran again. Bowls, hits him on the pad. There's a big appeal gone up there, but they're going to run through for a leg by... I was going to say it's Richard Kettleborough, but it can't possibly be Richard Kettleborough because it's England playing.
Well, no, in T20 Internationals, you do often have a... Well, it's often a home umpire. It might be Chris Gaffney, actually.
Okay.
Let's just have a look at who the umpires are. No, it's
Sean
Haig and
Wayne
Wayne
Knights.
Both New Zealanders.
Never heard of them, I have to say.
Well, I'm a big fan
sorry.
of Wayne's brother Boogie.
Boogie Nights, very good tune by Kool and the Gang, or was it? Earth, Wind
No, it was a
and Fire?
film. It was a film.
Oh, there was a film with Mark Wahlberg.
Burt
wasn't it?
Reynolds as Dirk Diggler, wasn't it? Or
Dirk
was that
Diggler.
Mark Weir?
No, you're absolutely right. Which brings the left-hander. Now, if the Bear was in here now, he'd be saying, "Who's this weirdo?" It's Colin Munro, who
it's-
smashed 100
He did.
in
At
one of the
Lincoln.
warm-up games.
Colin Monroe is with me.
In comes Curran, bowls to him, and he tucks that away on the leg side through square leg, and they ease through for a single. Now, if you're wondering whether perhaps our commentary is a little bit staggered this evening, it's because we're having trouble with the satellite, so we've had to use a computer to get the show on the road, as it were, and so it's a little bit flickery. It's not quite as smooth as we would expect. So there may just be the occasional moment when we go, "Ooh, what the hell's happened there?" Anyway, he's got a slip. He's got a man at mid-wicket on the 45. It's Martin Guptill facing Curran in again. Bowls him. He tucks this one away off his legs out to deep square leg. They will take another single, and New Zealand move to 3 without loss. Guptill has a single, and Munro has one to his name as well.
Cricket Blytherment says, "You're back."
We are.
Sobs with joy.
Oh, I know. I you know.
And Dr. S.P. Cooper says, "Thank heavens for the Guerrilla Cricket crew
We
and their
are,
whimsical, relevant and ungeo-blocked coverage." That's us.
Yeah, most importantly, ungeo-blocked, apart from our other qualities. Outside the off stump, smashed by Colin Munro. A rather ugly shot that ended up going towards mid-on, but they have hurried through for the single. It's the end of the first over of 20, and New Zealand have moved to 4 without loss.
Not swift progress. Vector Victoria says, "Morning, Gorillas. I was just going to bed and foolishly checked Twitter and remembered you're on. I guess I'm not going to sleep now."
Don't go to bed.
Don't go to sleep. Well,
Don't
you go to
be
bed,
daft.
just don't go to sleep.
Go to bed, don't go to sleep.
Anna Forsyth says, the wonderful Anna says, hi, cricket is back and I'm totally chilled about it. Messy Jez says, "Morning all. Wonderful to have you back and most considerate of you to start at 9 a.m. my time."
Oh yes, well we decided that we would do that for you, Anna, because you know there's nothing we like better than being here at 1 o'clock in the morning, having had no sleep whatsoever, and probably not getting any for the next 24 hours.
Messy Jez, who also went on to say, "Kiwi seem to be going a bit Australian in their Mitchellness."
They do. Well, now this is unheralded and unforeseen. It's the two Currans
It's
opening the bowling together.
Curran squared.
It is. It is. And here he comes. He's in. He bowls to Munro, and Munro flicks that quite nicely. Good timing. Straight to Owen Morgan at mid-wicket, and there is no run. It's a shame I had to talk over that jingle because I do love that. Can we play that again?
Yeah, we can.
I love that jingle.
The most effectual tomcat, whose intellectual close friends get to deceive.
Now, you know, actually, if you're in London by any chance, the London Jazz Festival is starting on the 15th of November, and that's just, I think they should employ them. That's great jazz, isn't it?
It is.
It's wonderful. 4 for no wicket. Curran, Tom, coming into the left-handed Colin Munro over the wicket. He's in. He's down the wicket. He tries to lift that over mid-on, but makes very scant contact with that. Indeed, it probably came off an edge, and a bit of pad ran towards Billings behind the stumps, and there is no run. Oh, it's beautiful, Hagley Oval. I want to go there.
Yeah, glorious grass banks. It is one of New Zealand's great boutique grounds. The mountains in the background as well. The Hagley Oval.
The wonderful Botanic Gardens.
Yeah, the Hagley Oval hosting its first ever T20 International.
Oh, it's a magnificent sight. In comes Tom Curran again into Munro. Flicks this away, but there is Adil Rashid on the 45.
45, he was,
He's on the 40-45. Yeah, there he is. What a wonderful man he is. And there is no run.
Yes, now that his shoulder's been reattached.
Indeed. Yeah, it was a hanging by a thread, basically. He's been doing some good work, hasn't he, in Kashmir recently? Rashid. He's been out there working with charities, and that is wonderful to hear. Anyway, here comes Tom Curran again into Colin Munro. Very wide open stance, and he plays a good length ball. Really not much that he could do with it apart from steer it to extra cover, and there is no run.
Yeah, it's a very unusually cautious, well, not cautious exactly, but unexplosive start from Guptill and Munro, who are both players who are very, very dangerous in the power play, especially Munro hit the ball very cleanly down the ground and sort of pick up shots over the leg side, especially Munro.
And I think you were there for that wonderful one-day innings, weren't you?
Guptill's double ton, yeah.
Double-ton,
There's a bit of a change to the field. I think deep pointer's gone back. I can't quite see where the other deep fielder is.
In comes Curran again. 4 dot balls in the closet, and again he's going to get a fifth as Munro advanced down the wicket. The ball was pitched outside leg stump. He was trying to whip it away, but again failed to make contact. It ran off his pad, and there is no run. So this is an excellent start from Tom Curran, and New Zealand are facing a maiden.
It's,
a maiden.
so the field, we've got a man back at short third man, a backward point, deep point, extra cover, mid off, mid on, a man back at deep square leg, and I think a short man on the 45.
Curran looking for this. Well, he's gone for it up for an
Just a
appeal.
mile outside.
That's a crazy appeal. I admire his optimism, but it was so far outside leg stump. I mean, the important thing is that Munro didn't get a run from it. It's a maiden from Tom Curran. Excellent work from him. After 2 overs, New Zealand are 4 without loss.
That Richard Hadley. That was a crazy appeal.
He's crafty and deceitful, and he'll try to LBW and bowl a maiden over.
By the way, if you may be used to the fact that we tend to do wicket updates and score updates during the game on Twitter. Unfortunately, the laptop I used to do that is currently being plugged into the TV, so we can actually watch. So there won't be any, I'm afraid.
Well, there you go. Well, you just have to listen to us, won't you?
They'll muddle on somehow.
5 on the single outside off stump. Guptill's giving himself a little bit of room, but it's a ball that keeps angling into him, really, from Sam Curran. There's not a lot he can do. A very good length from the young Surrey bowler, and there is no run
7 dot
again.
balls in a row for New Zealand.
Excellent stuff from England, this.
Jay Grover's with us.
Hey!
Says, hope you all had a cracking Halloween, as thou art all a godless heathens. There's no point wishing you an All Hallows Eve.
No, we are godless heathens, generally speaking. In comes Curran, bowls, and he tries to pull this one, but then again, Rashid tumbling to his right, making sure that he gets the whole body behind that. It wasn't clearly picked up, but he did a good job there. Guptill has hurried through for the single. New Zealand moved to 5 without loss.
Andrew says, morning gents.
Morning!
How are these 2 test matches not part of the test championship? Oh, hang on, we got some T20s first. Did they not get a sponsor?
Your guess is as good as ours, I'm afraid. The stated logic makes little sense.
No, it's very strange, isn't it?
We had that conversation, didn't we, at some length?
Yeah.
Lou Britt in Sacramento says, hello, good evening. I'm Bollocks from Sacramento, California.
Hello! In comes Curran, bowls to the left-handed Munro. Munro, a kind of checked drive, but again, not finding the gap in the offside. And it's we did have a single, didn't we? But England keeping the wraps on this very well indeed. New Zealand 5 without loss from, 15 balls, to be fair.
Yes.
I suppose we should talk, I mean, with the 100 coming in, we should talk about this in terms of balls, shouldn't we, really, rather than overs. In comes Curran. He's down the wicket, Munro. Again, doesn't connect with that particularly well, but he does get it through the vacant mid-on area. There's Chris Jordan out at long on doing the fielding, and they take 1 more.
Yeah, 10 dot balls are the 16 bowled so far today.
Well, you'd take that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no more than 1 run scored off any particular delivery.
No, indeed.
Adam Kate, or Katie.
Oh, it's Etchek. It's Etchek.
Yes, says, morning gorillas. Hendo seems remarkably chipper.
Well,
how long until the first doomed of the winter?
that will be the beer. I haven't drunk for about 8 weeks, and tonight I did. Anyway, in comes Curran, bowls. Oh, he tried to pull that Guptill, maybe didn't get up as much as he thought. It's taken out the off stump, and Sam Curran has his first wicket in T20 international cricket, and New Zealand are 6 for 1.
Dragged it on.
Did indeed.
Tell you, Martin Guptill shaves off his beard, 2 off 7.
Well, I shaved off my beard, and I haven't had a bat in my hand, so I suppose that doesn't really count, does it? No. It cost me £6. Is that too much to pay for a shave?
No,
£6?
No, I don't think so.
That seems reasonable.
Seems about right.
Doesn't it? Anyway, so New Zealand have lost their first wicket. They are 6.
My wonderful
for 1.
Lorraine, who's my hairdresser,
Oh, you're wonderful, Lorraine.
She gets it. She sort of throws in the beard trimming as.
Does she do that thing where she
the package
gives you a sort of a wash and she sort of just strokes your head? Because if so, I want to go to Lorraine.
You would. She's very. It's a pleasurable experience.
In Claygate?
That's all I can tell you. Yes, in Claygate.
I'm going there.
Gary Naylor says, "Who's that weirdo?"
Gary Naylor.
Gary. Pirate Badshaw, docked in Dublin, says, "Morning, old salts." Ha ha ha! Yar! I added the ha 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 ha. That was.
Well, I like the ha ha, to be honest. It was very good indeed.
And at number 3 for New Zealand, their wicketkeeper.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This is Tim Seifert.
We got a jingle
hello.
You don't know me. You don't know Kiwi.
Lovely jingle that is. Onto the back foot he goes, and he plays that really nicely, but out to the edge of the field where it is indeed fielded, and he gets a single. But it was a nice shot, and New Zealand moved to 7 for 1, and that is the end of the third over. Any more tweets?
Plenty. Adam Kate says, definite T-shirt opportunity there. He was replying to Gary in his "Who's that weirdo?" So yes, we can see that as a T-shirt. Mayank. Oh no, hang on, I'm jumping.
Mayank.
Mayank.
We haven't heard from him for a while.
I've just got ahead of myself.
Which sporting event are you watching in the world?
Imagine says, a satellite. What did you do? Win the lottery or have your Patreon numbers exploded?
Well,
if we had our own satellite, we would.
now that's an idea.
Telstar.
Can we crowdfund for
Guerrilla
our own
Telstar.
satellite? Send it up there.
We have some people with us on Crick Tracker.
Hooray!
Hurrah!
Hello.
I did have Crick Tracker.
Prashant Parkour, Saifur Rahman and Nadeem Mahmood both asking for a review of Shakib's ban. It's very sad news, but really he has only himself to blame.
Oh, it's so sad, so sad. Tom Corran starts the new over on to Tim Seifert outside the off stump. He aims at a drive but makes no contact through. It goes to... What the heck has Sam Billings got on?
He's got a microphone.
He's got a microphone, which is like...
It's either that
like
or the most extraordinary piece of chest hair shaving that you've ever seen in your entire life.
That is bizarre.
You quite often get fielders mic'd up in T20s to talk to the commentators. Not normally the wicket-keeper.
No, and I don't... And I've never seen a microphone like that on a cricketer. And it's quite frankly, it's not one I want to see again. Curran bowls, onto the back foot goes Seifert. Forces up to mid-off and runs through the single. Brilliant throw from Chris Jordan, who just rather sort of lazily decides, I'll just throw that in if I have to, and takes out the leg stump.
Such a good fielder.
What a man he is. 8 for 1.
Matthew Borry is with us on Crick Tracker. He says, hi, Narendra Singh Lohia is with us, Saptanarayan is with us, and a few more as well. Welcome. Please tell your friends and share the link on Crick Tracker. In fact, he's wearing a microphone fluffer, which those of you who've been watching the show for a while may be familiar with.
Indeed.
It is for high winds. It is windy in certain parts of the season.
If anyone's able to talk about high wind authoritatively, it would definitely be the bear.
Yeah, very, very much so. In comes Tom Corran to bowl to Munro. Down the leg side, he tries to whip this away. I thought maybe he got a little bit of glove on that, but no. Spilled by Billings as he dived away to his right. It's given as a wide.
Wow.
I'm so... I've missed these. I've missed this, and I've missed you all. I'm just absolutely loving being back here at Gorilla Towers.
It's wonderful just to sit down and talk cricket with our adoring public.
Indeed, it is. It's a beautiful thing. In comes Curran again to bowl to Munro. He's whipped this one away. He's picked it up, and he's picked it up well. I thought for a moment that he might have put that down the throat of the man at deep backward square, but he's got it square of him, in front of him, and it's gone all the way for one of these, the first one.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Yeah, attempted to slow a ball into the pitch, but Munro loves that pick-up shot over the leg side. It was right in his arc. Basically played a sweep shot off a seam bowler there, and yes, off the third legitimate ball of the third over, the first boundary.
Yeah, indeed. It's interesting what England are seeming trying to do against Munro. He's trying to keep it into his legs. This one is actually outside the off stump, not by much. Munro swiped at it, and I think he was beaten because it was again, another slower ball.
It was.
And it's rather grubbed through to the man behind the stump, Sam Billings.
It's a knuckleball, I think, from Tom.
No,
back of the hand, slower ball. Very well disguised indeed.
Well, to bowl those at pace is an extraordinarily hard skill. We've seen the likes of Jade Dernbach bowl it pretty well, and more players are beginning to do that, but that was a lovely delivery. Again, short, he tries to swing it away, hits him on the hip, they'll run through for a single as it runs out square, leg by signalled by the umpire, and New Zealand have moved to 14 for 1.
Yeah, lovely.
Tim
change-up.
Everingham.
Sorry.
Tim Everingham says, "Morning,
Tim
Gorilla.
Everingham.
I don't know why I'm doing this for anything other than love the game. I think it's truly been cricket deprived whilst being in Paris." I'd love to know where you were, Tim. You used to live there. Anyway, go New Zealand.
I mean, there has been quite a lot of cricket on since we last broadcasted. We haven't been broadcasting any.
No, well, I mean, to be honest, I would have loved to have done the World T20 qualifier. I'd have loved to have gone out there and done it, but we were unable. We had no money, and it's been a great tournament by all accounts. And well, it's wonderful to see Scotland and Ireland in the competition. Certainly at the start of it, when we get to Australia next year. Flicked away, backward as square. Good piece of fielding, very sharp from the man in there. I'm not sure who it was. Is it Morgan?
That's Owen Morgan, yeah.
What's he doing out there? Anyway, it was a lovely throw on the bounce, which more or less took off the bail, and there is no run.
JMO in Sydney says, "Sydney, hot, sunny, Friday lunchtime, and thank the Lord for the gorillas, for all us expats. Delighted to be here, JMO." Mayank says, "You're back. Thank God for the massive time difference, because it's only 9 a.m. here on the East
Yeah,
Coast."
it's great for you,
Jake
Paul.
Rover says, "Knuckles curls are freaking me the fuck out. It's like a South Asian Shirley Temple." Brule creamed us sen up and nutted him.
I hadn't noticed this. Have you had something done to your hair?
No, I just haven't had it cut for a while.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
thought it's been it's patted down a little bit
I
somehow.
put a little bit of product in it. but-
Little bit of product, Lord.
Yeah, you don't find us older people using product. It's purely a young man's game. Anyway, it's
I
going to
use
be
something to shine the top of my head.
Sam Curran to bowl his third over. He's in to Seifert, who steers us away in the air out to deep backward square. There is Pat Brown.
Thanks,
That's
Pat
my
Brown,
first
again.
sighting of the great man.
Yeah, it looks like you kind of wouldn't expect Tom Curran or Sam Curran to be death bowlers. Certainly Pat Brown is a very good death bowler, so is Chris Jordan. Arthur Rashid's been used at the death by Morgan a lot in both white ball forms, so we might see that as well. So, the Curran brothers used, we may see this kind of develop as we kind of run up to the T20 World Cup next year in Australia, as England try and work out their combinations. Kind of these two and Saqib Mahmood jostling for a slot alongside Jofra.
Curran into the left-hander Munro, who tucks us away, comfortably away to deep mid-wicket, who comes in off the fence to field. They take a single. Score moves on to 17 for 1.
Yeah, Jimmy Vince banished out there to the boundary.
Poor old Jimmy Vince.
Oh, Jimmy
Poor
Vince.
old Jimmy
Anna
Vince.
Forsyth says, "Speaking of Top Cat,
Mm-hmm.
I've had to explain it to two separate Canadians last week. One said she's seen it once or twice, but the other two had no idea. Madness."
Well, how
Quite
have
right.
how have you missed out? In comes Curran again. Seifert plays a pull shot in the air. Is there anyone out there going to take the catch? No, it's gone all the way.
Oh,
What
yeah,
a
the crowd.
shot from the young New Zealand wicketkeeper. He's picked up the first 6 of the day.
I believe in miracles. Since you came to bat, you're 6 of 8.
That's dismissive, wasn't it? Really? A very
Fabulous
good
shot by Seifert onto the length so early. He hit a 6 off the front foot off a fast bowler over basically wide mid-on.
Well, I can tell you, in comes Curran again, bowls. He flicks this up in the air. There is no genuine mid-wicket. Had there been, it would have been the easiest of catches, but he's going to get a single. And I can tell you, if you're watching us on Cricket Tracker, if you're watching us on Facebook, if you're watching us on YouTube, I can tell you now that Nakul Pandey has now not only revealed his curly hair, but he's revealed his wonderful shirt. Look at that shirt. That is absolutely glorious. What do you think, Tony? Do you think you could get away with that?
Me? Probably not.
No, probably not. Curran in. Down the wicket comes Munro. Heaves this high. But is it long enough? Yes, it certainly is. And some bloke drops it in the crowd. And that is another 6. Well, not consecutive 6s, but 2 6s in this over. New Zealand steam on to 30 for 1.
attempted cutter into the pitch from Sam Curran, but it just didn't stick at all. It looks a pretty true wicket, sort of slightly sort of light straw coloured. Monroe came down the track, and that was right in the slot for him.
Yeah, I must say, at the end of this over, I'm going to be taking my leave for a little bit as Curran comes in again, bowls to him, and he picks that up almost over his shoulder. Is that going to go all the way? I think it has. It's gone way back into that crowd on the bank. That is the third six of the over. New Zealand really getting a shift on. Moved to 36 for 1 after 5 overs. And before I take my leave, I just want to say to our wonderful taxi driver, Alfie, if you're listening...
Altaf.
No, he told me his name was Alfie when I asked him. Alfie, I want to say you are a wonderful taxi driver, and never let anyone tell you anything different. Right, that is the end of my stint. It's time for one of you guys to move into the middle and take over ball by ball. Who
Which
did I
one?
say was next?
Me, I think.
Yeah, you.
Who's doing tweaks then?
2 sixes in a row. 2 sixes in a row.
Oh, we need a jingle. Hello, peeps! It's been a while! Hello. I haven't thought about cricket.
Chris
for
Jordan.
fucking
Chris
ages.
Jordan, it's going to be. Thundering in, right arm over, flicked off his legs by Tim Seifert, straight to mid-wicket. And he will take himself a single.
It's this man.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry. More England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem he'll wish he'd joined the Windies team.
Yes, indeed. It is a beautiful ground, isn't it?
A lot of the grounds in New Zealand are beautiful.
Hagley Oval. The Richard Hadley Pavilion looks like it's like they've taken the Rose Bowl and just squidged it, but it's perfectly in situ. This one's wide and horrible, and is that going to be wide?
It shouldn't be.
Oh no, he got away with that.
Absolutely.
Umpire had a second, third, probably fourth look,
It was well inside the line. Fuck off.
but decided it was not going to be wide.
Oh, yeah, no.
And Sam Billings, the New England vice captain, skipped away several steps across away, but managed to pouch it nicely.
Don't you like the fact that they've got the little stripies inside the 30-yard? So it's
Oh,
really
very nice.
easy to
Jordan
know.
in. This was looking to be pulled away by Monroe, but didn't really. He got a bit of a bottom edge and it basically trundled its way to mid-wicket. It'll take another single.
So they've got the stripes inside the 30-yard circle. So it's really
It's-
easy.
yeah, and whatever
it's
they've
just
done on the
plain
outside.
outside.
No, it's
And it makes it really easy.
beautifully coiffured.
Coiffured,
It's a
indeed.
beautifully coiffured surface. Tim Seifert on 12, the New Zealand wicket-keeper.
I went on the 30.5.
He
before,
is
so
facing.
we-
He's facing the fourth ball from Chris Jordan, who's hit his straps quite nicely. This one's very full, and Seifert drops the bat on it. It is a way to cover, and they'll take another single.
Now, Statsman.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm commentating. I don't do stats when I'm commentating.
Well, you've got a whole lot of notes.
Well, you don't have time to look at them in T20,
Of
especially
course
not
you
when
do.
you're
Of course
pissed.
you do. He's on his way back.
Well, go on then. What do you want to know?
Well, I want to know what the average score is in international T20.
Oh, probably about 100 and something.
Is it first
And that-
T20 here? Okay.
Well, on this
There you go.
ground
In
or
T20,
in New Zealand?
Well, no, it's the first ever T20 here, so there isn't an average. So that's
Okay.
an easy one to answer.
So what do we reckon they're going to get?
Well, I'll tell you in a minute. As in comes Jordan. This one's a little bit shorter, but, well, actually pretty much full on a length. And Monroe's disgusted with that, and he flicks his bat up in the air and drops it.
And taps it on the end.
And then gives it a little pat on the head. Not a Pat Brown, the well-known EastEnders character. Anyway, Monroe, 56 T20s. He averages 32, strike rate of 160, a best of 109 not out, and yet apparently the Bears never heard of him. In comes Jordan,
No.
flicked
Oh,
beautifully
ow.
and gone.
Another
Worked it
wicket.
away. It was.
Who's that weirdo?
It was full. The weirdo has weirded off.
He's weirded off.
He's weirded off. It was a full ball. So possibly a slightly slower ball, Bear. What do you reckon?
I don't think it was like. I think he's toe
It
ended
was
it.
full. He
didn't
was looking for a Yorker, but
it-
it seemed full, and
He tried to
Monroe,
pick it up over the top of him.
he
and
was. He
didn't
was
quite
trying
get
to
it.
flick it up over mid wicket and just failed. And he did the classic look back like it was entirely the pitch's fault. But it was caught by
It
Owen
didn't hit the
Morgan.
fucking
It's
pitch.
always the pitcher's fault.
Well, no, well, exactly.
It didn't hit the fucking pitch.
I know that.
It was a full
You
toss.
know that. Bones to my left knows that. But he just gave it that look back like somehow it was. Anyway, here is.
Ooh. I love
one
this
of
jingle.
one of our favourite cricketers who has one of our favourite jingles.
This man.
Yeah, quite a long way back. Jay Grove.
I turned to look, but I was gone. I cannot see my own reflection now. My body's gone, my face is gone. I have become Colin de Grandon.
Colin de Grandon.
CDG. What a wonderful jingle. I love that jingle.
It's great jingle.
It's Adil Rashid on the 45. We're going to need another jingle.
We're
as
going to need
well.
another jingle. It's this man.
Adil Rashid on the 45. 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 Adil can turn it both ways. Adil can turn it. Adil can turn it both ways. Adil can turn it. Adil can turn it both ways. Adil can turn it on the 45.
In he comes. And onto the back foot goes Seifert. Forces this away through mid-off, and they will take a single. Adil Rashid, who did a decent job, took a couple of wickets, didn't he, at Lincoln in the first warm-up game, had a rest in the second.
Well, apparently his shoulder was totally knackered, wasn't it? In the World Cup?
Well, and he did say...
No, I mean, we did say we kind of knew that, but it wasn't sort of
he
thrown out as much
Well,
as
he
we
did
know
say that.
now. If you want,
And he's got young Matt Parkinson breathing down his neck in this
I haven't
series,
seen
and
Matt Parkinson. He
I
is
have
a
seen
weirdo who I don't know.
Well, he's a
Why is he
Did-
breathing down? And
Well, he's a leggy, isn't he?
Well, he's a leggy, yeah. In comes Rashid again, and this is all
That's gone
short.
all
That's
right.
not
Oh.
enough. That's not enough.
How's that going to make it? Oh, it's one
Oh.
bounce. One bounce.
Oh.
It's most extraordinary.
Excellent
The ball had already bounced and gone over the boundary before James Vince decided to launch into this enormous dive to try and flick it back, which was utterly, utterly pointless. I'm not quite sure what he thought he was doing. There we go.
I presume you thought it was in the air over the line. I
It
can
wasn't
pass it
utterly
back.
pointless. He was nearly there to save the
Well,
six.
no, but the ball had gone over the boundary before he actually launched himself. Rashid in again, anyway. This one is pushed away to Rashid's left as he's diving away. And it goes to mid-off. They will take... There we go. Look, the ball's already gone before Vince decides to have a...
But if he pats it, here I
not
am
be a
not an
four.
umpire. If he'd have patted
Yeah.
it back with his feet off the ground,
It would not have been a six.
would it not been a four?
No.
It was a 4. It was bounced...
No. Yeah, it did. But
Yeah, but he hadn't actually
Literally.
bounced over the rope, so it would not have been a four. He'd patted it back.
because his feet were off the ground,
Oh, right, you've
Yeah.
lost me now.
possibly.
He
That
was
one.
not grounded the other side. So.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm with you. Yeah,
But I
that
don't
was
know whether
pushed
that
away
only-
to mid-on.
The thing is, I don't know if that only refers to sixes or
Yeah, I
all
thought
boundaries.
That, yeah, I thought that.
No,
So the ball bounced.
No, the ball's
The ball bounced. It went
Inside.
over the boundary.
yeah,
Okay.
correct, yeah.
All right,
He wasn't
cool.
grounded on the other side.
He wasn't
of the
grounded on
Gotta
the
be
outside
honest,
line.
on
Okay,
over
it's
the
much
boundary.
like a six. Yeah, exactly.
As this one, a bit edgily.
No, you can't run that, can you?
No,
Fucking
they
hell.
have run it, and very sharply too. Very good running between de
Sharp
Grandon and
running.
Seifert. So de Grandon has eased his way pretty quickly on.
He's a big hitter.
6. Well, he's a big hitter, but he's got 6 off 3. Adil Rashid with his dodgy injected shoulder, and that one down the track comes Seifert. He was looking to
Isn't
probably
that
slap this away, but he didn't really get hold of it, and he just pushes it to Jordan and at mid-on, and they will just take another single. End of the over.
He's not injected anymore, isn't it? That's the whole point. He's cleared it up, hasn't he?
I thought it was the idea, yeah.
I don't think he's 100% yet.
Really?
From what I understood, I think they'll manage
okay.
him. I think they will manage him carefully through this series. But equally, it's not just about managing them. I think it's also about just trying new players and
Well, it is, but I mean,
New combinations.
if he has a slightly dodgy shoulder, and this is a point that sets T20s in New Zealand, you just give him the time off, don't you? let him completely settle. Completely heal. Well, you know, he's a fucking stalwart aside.
He is a stalwart.
You know where, you know, if he fits in and he's working well, he plays. Therefore, if he's slightly injured and shouldn't be playing, he doesn't play.
Fair enough. I would go, now we're going to see.
Ooh, who's this?
A new boy.
It's
A new
Pat
boy.
Brown.
Who's this weirdo?
Well, it's Pat Brown.
It's this man.
Worcestershire's finest.
He won't fall.
God, he looks like a 12-year-old. I'm getting old.
I can't stress this now.
And he's a bit on leg side, that one, and it was easy enough for Seifert, oh dear, to work away to mid-wicket.
Oh, don't let him get 3, for fuck's sake.
And they are going to end up getting 3. There was a horrible misfield.
Off his very first ball.
Well, he's not going to be happy with that.
No.
Well, he had a horrible time in the first T20 at Lincoln. Was dropped 3 times. Took a wicket in his England debut, I suppose, if you count a warm-up game. And he was dropped 3 times. And who was that went down there and failed horribly to field? Well, it wasn't good. So poor old Pat Brown must be thinking, the gods are against him. He could have had 4 wickets in that first game. That one is a beautifully disguised slower ball that also sort of cut back into de Grandhomme, and he was through the shot about 10 minutes before it got past him.
It was a normal ball.
Well, I don't know. No, I think. It just maybe cut away a little bit.
Don't think it
Billings
did.
was taking it down at ankle height.
He's trying to work on the leg side and just missed it. It was 130 Ks. It wasn't particularly quick.
No, true, it wasn't. Pat Brown again, who is an interesting looking character, isn't he? That one is slapped, but it's slapped straight to backward point. James Vince, the man who was doing the duties there.
Bit of a catch up on.
I think we should. We're probably
Twitter,
probably
miles
hundreds of miles
behind.
behind. It was Dowd Milan, I beg his pardon. I should know him, shouldn't I?
Jay Grover sort of comments. I don't often watch on Facebook, but Hendo's looking pretty spiffy on the pot.
Spivvy or spiffy?
Spiffy, double F.
Okay.
Double F. I don't know what Jay's doing, but great.
Pat Brown in again, right arm over, flicked off his legs by de Grandhomme, and they will take a single. Keep them coming, Bones, or else you'll get way behind.
Jeff Perkins, who is this non-ranting fellow at peace with the world who sounds a bit like the old Hendo?
Or maybe it was Hendo.
It was Hendo.
Probably Hendo.
Yeah, so
52 for 2, by the way.
Good to have you all back, peeps.
Our good friend Jez.
Messers, hello Messers.
Fluffers, question mark.
Fluffers.
I presume.
In comes Brown. That was, I think, a slower ball. Bear your toe. 112 kilometres, yes.
Yeah, it was a slow ball.
And Seifert
chipped that up in the air.
Did chip it, but it was
just short of the man at cover.
That's fantastic, yes. Would you just like to take over ball by ball?
Well, no, not really, but you asked me to tell
yes,
you what
would.
happened.
Yeah, of course you would.
Oh, I'll be there soon enough.
You will.
I'm
warming the
smashed,
seat.
I have to say.
Marvellous. Pat Brown, first over anyway. 129, 130, 132, 131, and as
not
we said, a
particularly
slow
quick,
one.
is he?
In he comes again anyway. That's wide, that's horrible.
Filthy.
It's flicked up over the square leg umpire, down to the square leg boundary. They take one, they thought about 2, they won't go for it. Billings takes it on the half volley in front of the batsman, and it's 53 for 2.
Wasp has them at 170, and they're 53 for 2 off of 8. I don't think 170. I'm more thinking 150 here.
Yeah, it's not.
They've had one good over, and the rest actually they've been pretty.
Meantime,
poor.
Johnny Bairstow is wandering off to sign an autograph.
That's very good of him, isn't
which
it?
is excellent.
Jeff Perkins, you older gents may not have product in your hair, but those with beards generally have traces of soup in it.
Beer.
Toothpaste. I always find it's toothpaste.
Speak for yourself, Jeff, I have to say.
Exactly.
I always come out of the bathroom in the morning and...
Take the
Oh,
soup
this
out.
is reversed.
Ooh.
Slapped.
Oh.
Up and over
Horrible
and
shot.
4.
He did get 4 now.
And Adil Rashid is so disgusted by that, he's left his chewing gum dangling out
It's
over
me,
his
says
beard.
she. It's me, says she.
I'm going to upset.
That was a horrible half tracker.
Yeah, I'm going to upset.
Horrible shot too.
I'm going to
really.
upset Hendo with this. This little message from Chris Waller. Morning, lads. Tuned in from the bullet train from Kyoto to Tokyo.
Oh, I used to do that very often, yes.
Obviously, getting ready for the Rugby World Cup final on
9 o'clock start.
I'm
very
much looking forward to that.
Jay Grover, Knuckles' shirt is fucking boss. Don't know what that even means.
That means it's excellent.
It's appreciation.
I don't think so.
No, that means it's good. That one is Fuller by Rashid and onto the back foot.
Right, now we're getting down to some...
Gondom, and he pushes away to the offside and takes a single.
Right, no. Thursshire. Who the F is Pat Brown?
Well, yes. I would ask that question myself.
He's been consistent performer for Worcestershire, consistent taker of wickets in the county championship.
He's ugly.
Well, that's sadly bad. If we picked our commentary team in the same way as you obviously want to pick your England team.
I'm just saying.
If you only want sort of golden Adonises, as this one is worked away into the onside,
we'd be
and
suffering.
they take another single. Well, you say we, presumably in the royal sense, as in comes Rashid again, whirling away, flicked off his legs. Backward of square leg, they'll take another single. De Gondom will move onto Nerf.
Jay Grover's in form. Bears urban camouflage is so good I can just about see floating chubby head.
The Bears.
I've lost a little bit of weight, I think.
Mog's with us as well. So
Mog!
It's so reassuring to know that Colin de Gondom is playing with number 77 on his back.
As this one's flicked away into the onside. Mog, are you going to the game tonight? I've losing my time. Anyway, it's the MCG game and it's the third of the T20s, Australia and Sri Lanka. Do let us know if you are. There will be a member of the Bishop family there. I don't have his seat number, but you can always probably go and
meet
find
a
him
bishop
somehow.
before the bishop.
Meet the bishop before the bishop.
Mog's last comment, you really need a jingle for all those weirdos the bear doesn't know.
Well, that's just
There's
about
quite a few
everybody
in this game, Mog. There's quite a few.
61 for 2.
We're all there with Bear on that
26.
one.
Seifert's done a bit of a Joe Root. All of a sudden he's on 26, and I'm thinking, how did he get there? De Grandom a slightly more laboured 9, but off 8, so he's more than run a ball. Brown has one ball left of his first over in international cricket. This one is flicked up and over. Corner,
that should
one
have
no.
been caught, shouldn't it?
No. It was rescued on the boundary. They will take 2. Oh, thank you. Second over in international cricket. Yes.
Come on,
indeed.
Tony. Get it fucking together, man.
Thank you for walking all the way from the green room to tell me that, Knuckle. I do have some shoelaces that might need tying later. If you want to come and explain those to me as well, that would be brilliant. Who was that did the fielding? It was a very acrobatic piece of fielding.
Number 31.
Number 31. In comes Brown again in his second over and worked off his legs very nicely by De Gondom. Backward of square. They will take a single.
See, I'm going to say this now because what the fucking hell. But there are plenty of players who can play a T20 for an international side who may not be the best, may not be the worst, but T20 is T20.
T20 is T20.
Much the same as the IPL. You can have an IPL side play an international side.
Well, do you know what fascinates me? And I'll tell you in a minute after this ball.
You can have
from number 40.
From Brown down the track comes Seifert, worked away to mid-wicket. They will take 1 and they won't take 2.
Thought about it.
So England's all-time T20 win rate is about 57%, I think.
Okay.
New Zealand's is just over 50%. So that kind of tells me that at the end of the day...
What's India's?
Sorry, Bear, I only looked at India, England and
I just want to... my point is that...
it has...
my point...
So it's a
my
lottery.
point
It has a
being,
degree of lottery about it.
Absolutely. The shorter form of the game.
Dropped that a little bit short. De Grandom was looking to, I think, pull or hook that. And decided it came up a little bit sharply, and he's got one warning for the over, does Pat Brown.
Let's go down the rabbit hole. This is my point. The shorter the form of the game,
how can you give a warning to a 12?
The less the skill counts and the more the luck counts, right? Which is, I watch T20. I don't take a lot of scope by it, to be honest. But when you get down at T10, and now we get into the 100, it's bollocks, mate.
Well, fair enough. There's in comes Pat Brown again. Oh, pulled up and over, one-handed
got
actually,
enough?
but has he got enough of it?
Yeah.
You bet your
he
life he has. That's over mid-wicket. De Grandhomme is up and running. And as we look at Pat Brown, we kind of think, well, we know what Andy Caddick did with his ears after he retired.
Do you pin them back?
Flapping in the breeze as they are as he comes into ball. But, well, yeah, it's, that one. That was a curious shot, though, from de Grandhomme, wasn't it?
Little message from Dan Jocelyn. You're back just in time for my drive across the desert from Las Vegas to Los Angeles.
Oh, Viva Las Vegas. Pat Brown in again. Full, and this one is again. He was looking to give it the kitchen sink, was de Grandhomme, but he didn't time that at all. And it was down to deep mid-wicket. Knuckle is making signals.
Yeah.
He has stood with a glass of wine.
He's coming where you are.
A flowery shirt, and he's basically telling me
I'm going to finish off and say
to take a hike.
So he was tweeting while he was stopped in Baker, California, home of the world's largest thermometer and gateway to Death Valley.
Nice. I like that. No, my point is, the shorter form of the game, actually, the less skill comes into it and the more luck comes into it. My personal opinion. You know,
I think the second part of that is true. I'm not sure about the first part because what T20 has accelerated certain skills hugely.
yeah. But
Bowlers have to be a lot less predictable. They have to have so much more in the locker. The fielding standards have gone up as a result. Adil Rashid is in. His third over is hoiked by Colin de Grandhomme straight down the throat of James Vince at deep mid-wicket. A little bit slower than de Grandhomme was expecting. He got under it, got too far under it, picked out his man. Adil Rashid has a wicket, and New Zealand find themselves 72 for 4. Simple catch made to look simple. 72 for 3 after 10.1 overs. Colin de Grandhomme gone for 19 off 14. Never quite got going in the way that Colin de Grandhomme can. And England have done in general, apart from a little bit of an explosion off Sam Curran's last over, have generally kept New Zealand pretty much under control.
yeah, but this is my point. I think T20 is very predictable in the sense that you can get short in the first 10, but you can accelerate in the second 10. You can get up to 150, 160. The game is always in play.
Well, doesn't that rather imply that it's actually unpredictable?
Well, no,
actually, there's a lot of ways.
Yeah, but in the
You're never out of the game. You're never out of the game.
We have to put that wicket down to the fact that we changed over ball-by-ball commentary. That's Knuckles' wicket, that one.
De Grandhomme wanted to try and launch Rashid into the grass banks, didn't quite time it, and as a result picked out the man. That does bring the most experienced player in the New Zealand side to the wicket at number 5.
Ooh, Ross Taylor.
Yeah, he won't be. He will be on strike. Surely he won't be on strike. They must have crossed while the ball was in there. They have. So Ross Taylor will be at the non-strikers, and we'll give him a jingle. Seifert has to wait an age for this lovely delivery from Adil Rashid. Really held back, and Seifert could only bunt it down the ground to deepish set mid off for a single, bringing Ross Taylor on to strike. Only 3 4s and 4 6s so far for New Zealand. So you've got short fine leg, short third man, extra cover, and mid-wicket up in the circle. So presumably we've then got a man at deep point, long off, long on, and deep square leg, and deep mid-wicket. Presumably, I would imagine that's the field, but I can't quite see it in its entirety.
Big question from Jay Grover. Important. Does de Grandhomme have his tash back? If not,
He doesn't.
He's dead to me.
He does not.
Which is why he's probably out.
Rashid tosses this up and drifts into the pads of Ross Taylor. That was a lot fuller than Taylor was expecting. You often see bowlers holding it back, but that actually was fuller than Taylor was expecting. A nice delivery from Rashid. Thuds into the pad. There is no run. Yeah, we've seen a few usually facial-haired cricketers for New Zealand not sporting the facial hair. Martin Guptill shaved his beard off for the first time in several years.
They've lost it.
As Rashid is in, tosses this up, and Taylor nudges this down the ground past the left hand of mid-wicket, down to deepish set. Long on really, comes screaming off the boundary to keep it to a single. Great start to this third over from Adil Rashid, the 11th of the innings. 2 runs and a wicket off it. New Zealand 74 for 3. You're listening to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage in England's tour of New Zealand. You join us for the first T20 International from Christchurch. Tossed up by Adil Rashid. Seifert just clips this into the leg side. Chris Jordan comes in off the mid-wicket boundary, long on boundary. You don't take on Chris Jordan's arm. Just a single. He's already hit the stumps once today. The batter was well in, but nevertheless. So England won the toss and elected to field. New Zealand are 75 for 3. 1 ball left of the 11th over. A bit of a change to the field, and now mid-wicket's gone back, so we've got short fine leg, short third man, backward point, and extra cover. So 3 men out, 3 men up in the circle on the offside as Al Rashid is in. Holds this back a little bit, might have been out at the front of the hand, and just a nudge single by Ross Taylor. It will just be a single, trying to protect, I think, that boundary that Ross Taylor likes to pick up, likes to hit to with that big pick-up slog sweep of his, but had to content himself with a single. Good over from Rashid, just the 4 off it, plus the boundary. New Zealand, after 11 overs, are 76 for 3.
And not an awful lot of excitement on Twitter at the moment. Everyone's very quiet. So time for Bear to...
What have we got on YouTube?
I haven't looked at that yet.
It's over there.
It's over there.
I know.
I personally, I think New Zealand are a bit short here, but
yeah, I mean they did not.
I mean, they're looking like 150.
Yeah, they didn't start the innings well. It took that explosion of Sam Curran's third over to really get them going in the power play. Yeah, got to the Monroe. Took a long time to get going. Speaking of which, the man who bowled that over that went for a few is back into the attack. He's bowling out quite early in this, his first T20 international.
It is.
Number 13.
No, it's not him.
Wrong Sam.
Yes.
Number 13 on the jingle cart.
Wrong Curran, also wrong Sam.
Is he a batter or bowler? Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. He's not from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
Coming round the wicket, left arm round the wicket to right-handed Ross Taylor. We've got a man back at the third man boundary. 3 men up in the offside, backward point, cover, and mid off on a short fine leg as well. Everyone else on the leg side is back. Curran comes in quite wide of the crease from round the wicket. Fires this to the pads of Ross Taylor, who clips this nicely, but the man comes round. Lewis Gregory, also making his senior international debut actually for England. Played quite a bit for the Lions in all formats. He comes round to field. They come through for they came through for 2, in fact. No, it must have only been a single. That was Tim Seifert. Apologies.
No, they got 2 there.
Yes, they must have gone through for 2. 78 for 3. Apologies. No change to the field as Curran is at the end of his mark, coming around the wicket as he bowls a slow ball into the pitch, and Ross Taylor can't do anything other than just block this back to Sam Curran. There is no run. Curran not trusted with the death overs by Owen Morgan. Bowled 3 on the trot in the power play. Then after being hit around, got taken out of the attack, and now he's back bowling out in the 12th over. Unlikely to see Lewis Gregory bowl. He does bowl a little bit for Somerset, but mostly used as a finisher with the bat, and it can be devastating. His scores at over 2 runs a ball in the last 6 overs or so in the past. This is a leg delivery which is nudged by Taylor down to deep square leg. They come through for a single, bringing Tim Seifert, who's been rather starved to the strike, onto strike.
He's very leg side, isn't he? From
well, he's trying to bowl
lefty going round the wicket.
Well, he's trying to bowl very straight, and with the field set back on the leg side. So yeah, he is bowling
single.
Yeah, exactly. He's bowling to his field.
I saw that bloody. You see that graphic? I couldn't really understand it actually on Twitter about finishers in certain.
Curran in, and this is a full delivery on middle and leg. Seifert nudges this down to long on. Jordan comes in, and as I said in the last over, you do not take on Chris Jordan's arm unless you have a death wish. They come through for a single. Yes, I did see that. But England have actually not really found a T20 international finisher. And part of the reason might be that actually the Blast is not actually that strong a competition compared to T20 leagues around the world.
Well, that was true, and I see that, but there was no bloody
Yes, the original picture of the graph didn't have any units on it, which
Yeah,
didn't help.
exactly.
Back of a length, and slightly fuller than back of length, actually. And Taylor nudges this very cleverly, I guess, to manufacture 2 from probably where there should have been 1. He just took the pace off of it and made sure that it rolled to the just to the edge of the 30-yard circle, which meant that the man coming in from the leg side boundary could not prevent the 2. So 6
So
runs
good
off the
news.
over.
Twitter's woken up.
Hello.
Abhishek. Good morning from Bombay to the good folks of Guerrilla Cricket.
Hello,
Good
Abhishek.
morning.
It's about 6:30 in the morning, isn't it? In good old India.
Curran last ball of his first over in T20 international cricket. He's bowling to the vastly experienced Ross Taylor down the leg side. A sort of shout for LBW in that he started shouting, then stopped shouting quite quickly. Probably a leg by as Taylor tried to work it into the leg side, fielded by Adil Rashid. So yes, indeed, leg by. So New Zealand are 83 for 3 after their 12 overs, and I think Sam Curran can be quietly pleased with his first outing in T20 international cricket. 1 for 33 of his 4 overs.
Jay Grover, Knackle might have a Scarface outfit on, but there's no need to act coked up. Unless he is. In which case, carry on.
I have never partaken.
John's, good to see you back. Abhishek again, good to hear from you, John. How have you been? Well, that's a private conversation, so you guys carry on.
Adil Rashid tossing the ball.
Toby Emmerdale, yo, it's so good to hear you guys.
Well, thank you.
Welcome,
very
welcome,
much.
Toby. Adil Rashid is going to bowl out, not being used as a death bowler, which he has been sometimes. Tossed up, a lot of overspin, a lot of dip, and Taylor smashes this out into the offside. A really bad throw, actually, from the man on the cover boundary.
Terrible.
Lewis Gregory, I think, somehow managed to release that into the middle of the pitch. It didn't really matter. They were always going to come through for 2, but still not a very good throw.
Mog says, you always sounded pleased to see my tweet before. Your time off must have been pretty effing dull.
We're very pleased to see you, Mog. Come
Mog,
on.
we love you.
It's always lovely to have you in. I presume it's in your time zone.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all for Australians. Rashid fires this one down the leg side, and Ross Taylor gets that slug sweep away with short fine leg up. That was full enough that he could just work it past him for 4.
2 plus 2 is a man.
Rashid doesn't stray in line very often, and Ross Taylor took advantage on that occasion. Just slightly too full, and as I say, with short fine leg up, it was a pretty easy hit for Taylor to find that man on the find that boundary. But New Zealand need plenty more of those to get up to a strong score. 89 for 3 after 12.2 overs. Tossed up outside off stump. And making sure that Taylor can't get that sweep away, drives down to Johnny Bairstow at long off. They come through for a single. Adil Rashid at the end of his march. Short fine leg, short third man, a backward point and cover, who's sort of halfway back to the edge of the 30-yard circle. 4th ball of the over is, I think, slightly defeats Tim Seifert. He was expecting that to be right in his hitting arc for a big slog sweep, but it just never got to him, and he ended up having to paddle it round the corner to the man at short fine leg. The throw came in, and
they still got a single. I mean,
they did take the single.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, they hit it so badly, actually, they managed to come through for the single, despite the fact it was Chris Jordan. And the fact that Chris Jordan's on the 45 rather implies that Rashid was slightly bowling for that. 5th ball of the over, tossed up outside off stump and driven pleasantly by Ross Taylor, but it should just be a single out to the man on the cover boundary. That is Lewis Gregory, who fires in a slightly better throw. At least it was vaguely near the wicketkeeper on that occasion. 1 ball left of Rashid's spell. He's gone for 9 in this over. New Zealand 92 for 3. 1 ball left of the 13th over, which will be bowled now by Adil Rashid. They're in now and tosses this up very, very slow, and Seifert has to wait an age for it. And again, Lewis Gregory caught into action. This time his 3rd throw is the best of the lot, frankly. 10 off the over. Adil Rashid 1 for 31 off his 4 overs. Again, not spectacular, but not a bad afternoon's work.
Request from Abhishek, give us the Rashid jingle! Exclamation mark.
Oh, we've had it. Who's this dude, man?
We're currently seeing on screen one of New Zealand, Sky Sport New Zealand's sort of pitch reporter types, doing some entertainment for the crowd and for his host broadcaster between overs. Possibly during a drinks break. No, not a drinks break. New Zealand 93 for 3 after 13 overs. Sam Curran's bowled out, Arthur Rashid's bowled out. Still got Tom Curran and Pat Brown and Chris Jordan, in fact, to bowl quite a few overs. And it looks like it's going to be the third mentioned of those. He's only bowled 1 over so far and took a wicket.
That chap was obviously on working.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry. More England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem ill wishes join the windy team.
Jordan's really carved out a niche for himself as a T20 death bowler for England and for the various franchises he plays for around the world, including Sussex. 7 overs left of the innings.
Franchise?
He's going to bowl
franchise.
I said and Sussex. That's a horrible full toss, which Seifert tries to launch over long on, but he's got right under that. They're going to check for the no ball, actually, because it was pretty high. They're going to have a look.
It's not a no ball. Fuck off.
Well, that's not really the law, is it?
Yeah, I know, but, essentially.
Well, it's not at all. They're checking to see if this was over waist high. If Tim Seifert has managed to hit a full toss straight to the man on the
Seifert
deep.
doesn't think so, does he? He's walking off.
Seifert is walking off. They're
saying no. He's walking off.
In fact, that was the sort of rover camera that was coming out, and then they sent it away again. It's certainly not a no ball in terms of front foot from Chris Jordan.
They got all the technology, and that's a pretty ropey picture. That's not a no ball. That's fucking waist high.
It's pretty tight. I think it's probably just waist high in his normal stance, but it's not that far off. He's slightly crouching in his stance because his back knee has bent as he was trying to get under that.
That would fit him in the nuts.
I think that this is probably a thigh-high full toss, and Phil will be out. And New Zealand will have lost a second wicket, hitting a full toss straight down a fielder's throat. Waiting for the umpire. He's on screen now, and the sponsors logo is taking a little bit of time to show. We're decision pending. Decision pending. Out.
Thank you.
Tim Seifert is out. Chris Jordan has a second wicket.
Never in doubt.
There was nothing I could change. I was gonna go out strange.
Seifert was slowing down throughout that innings, and he really did have to try and get on with things. Really, he was doing his team no favours, hanging around, scoring it barely over a runner ball. It was an attempted slow ball from Chris Jordan that just, I think, slipped out of his hand. Seifert got that right off the toe end, and a comfortable catch for Johnny Bairstow at deep mid-wicket. Yes, Colin Munro hit a full toss straight to Owen Morgan, and Tim Seifert's done pretty much the same thing to Johnny Bairstow. 32 off 26 for Tim Seifert. Only 1-4 and 1-6. Started well, but as I say, slowed down pretty much through the entire innings. New Zealand 93 for 4 off 13.1 overs. Chris Jordan 2 for 3 from 1.1 overs. And that brings this man to the middle.
Is it this one?
No, not that one. Other Mitchell.
Our baby.
Number 6, number 6, number 6, number 6.
I'm of an old black funny and peep show. Wrote that book, oh, Darryl, not David Mitchell.
Indeed, he is the son of former All Black John Mitchell, who's now England's defence coach.
Oh, right.
As Jordan is in slower ball, which Ross Taylor nudges into the outside. Darryl Mitchell was nearly run out without facing there. The throw came in a lot quicker than he was expecting. He had to dive full length to make sure that he made his ground. The throw didn't hit in any event, but nonetheless, a bit of a workout for Darryl Mitchell, who's fresh off 170 for Northern Districts in the Plunket Shield in the first class competition. He and Mitchell Santner shared a massive partnership just a few days ago, so in form, admittedly in a different competition. Broke into the New Zealand team last year, Darryl Mitchell.
So questions arising now. Abhishek says, why the hell is Banton not playing after so many fireworks in the blast?
It does seem a little bit odd to not give Tom Banton as much of a go as possible. England have named a 15-player squad, and I imagine all of them will play at some point in the series, but it does, I agree, it seems a little bit odd. This is nudged by Darryl Mitchell into the leg side. Johnny Bairstow, who's up at mid-wicket, does the fielding. Eventually, they come through for one. New Zealand really have to get on with things now. 95 for 4 off 13.3 overs, barely going at 7 and over, and you wouldn't imagine that 140 will be particularly taxing for England on what looks a pretty true pitch. Everyone's back on the leg side, so long leg, deep backward square leg, mid-wicket, and long off, mid on, I think deep pointers back in the boundary, and then got 4 men up in the offside, so this will be fairly straight. Oh, a lovely slow ball from Chris Jordan, which Ross Taylor did not pick at all. Played right over the top of that, and it just missed it was quite away from the off stump, but completely foxed Ross Taylor on the bounce through to Sam Billings. There is no runs. It's been really good from Chris Jordan. Weirdly, the worst ball he bowled was the one he got the wicket with.
And Jay Grove was tweet quite irrelevant. I'm quite surprised to see Jordan again. I have no clue what to think of him.
Chris Jordan's been very good for England in T20s.
Very good.
Jordan is in bowling from mid-crease. A good slow ball ends up as a Yorker, which Taylor has to dig out to deep point. They will not risk the second. A good throw in from, I think that's James Vince out there. They come through for the single. So a really good second over from Chris Jordan so far. 3 runs off it and the wicket. Still 1 ball left for Daryl Mitchell to slightly ruin those figures.
And Kunal Tulani, long time no see. Welcome back.
Welcome. England have realised that they only had 3 up in the circle. They've now moved the 4th up into the circle as third man comes up. So it's third man, backward point, extra cover and mid-off up in the circle. Deep point, deep square leg, long leg, deep mid-wicket and long on back on the ring. Last ball of the over from Chris Jordan. It's a dot ball, bowled pretty much at full pace. A little bit of swing, actually, I think, from Chris Jordan, and blocked back to him. So Chris Jordan, 2 overs, 2 4th 6, really impressive for him. And New Zealand really are going nowhere slowly.
Yeah, indeed.
And Jez has just sent through some stats here. Here you go. Win percentages in T20 internationals as of today. So New Zealand 52.1.
Right.
England 51.9.
Oh.
Sri Lanka 49.6. And then Scotland 47.6.
So they're all sort of mid.
So New Zealand slightly ahead of us in T20s.
Yeah, England didn't really know what to do.
We didn't start taking it seriously.
Not really, despite the fact they
so
invented the format.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they tried to pick sort of T20 Cup. No, it wasn't the Blast back then. Specialists, sort of Darren Maddy and Paul Nixon and people of that type, which wasn't necessarily a bad idea. It just didn't really work. Basically, it took until that 2010 World Cup that England won for them to start taking it seriously.
Ravi now here comes up with a slightly dubious question here. In New Zealand, are cricketers looked upon as those who weren't good enough for rugby?
I don't think there are actually that many cricketers.
Very true.
I don't think there are that many cricketers who tried to play rugby. I think that the talent identification
there's a slightly different physical attribute.
Yeah, quite. The first ball from the new bowler is nudged by Ross Taylor into the leg side. This man playing with his younger brother for the first time in England colours.
You can tell this is an Aussie tweet.
The most effectual top cat, whose intellectual close friends get to poverty scene.
Yeah, Tom Curran, none for 8 off 2.1 overs, very impressive. Bowled a maiden earlier in the I think his first over, in fact, managed to keep Colin Munro quiet. He's in with his very energetic-looking run-up to Daryl Mitchell, who works this bottom-handedly into the leg side. They want 2 as it dribbles to the edge of the circle, but Jordan is in quickly to prevent any such ludicrous thoughts. They come through for a good. Yeah, Daryl Mitchell 2 off 3. Ross Taylor 18 off 16 really isn't doing his team too many favours either. A lot of slow innings from New Zealand. Martin Guptill 2 off 7. Colin Munro 21 off 20. Tim Seifert 32 off 26. Colin de Grandom 19 off 14. Ross Taylor 22 off 17. No one's really got going at all for New Zealand, and thus they're 98 for 4 off 14.2 overs. Taylor looking to pick up boundaries. Only hit the 1 thus far. Make that 2, because this is very full down the leg side, and it's just tickled away fine by Ross Taylor. He's hit 1 to the left hand of fine leg. Now he's hit 1 to the right hand of fine leg. An off cutter from Tom Curran. He got the line slightly wrong, too far down the leg side, and it was an easy tickle for Ross Taylor. Yeah, decent idea, poorly executed.
Snicked off the inside.
Yeah, short third man and short fine leg up in the circle. So not a lot of protection for Tom Curran if Taylor wants to play sweeps and sort of paddles and reverses and so forth, but he doesn't tend to play those shots at Ross Taylor. He doesn't quite have the full range of strokes for a modern T20 player. Not that he's not a fine batsman in his own right. He punches this down the ground too long off. They come through for a single. 7 runs off this over. Still 2 balls left. Daryl Mitchell has yet to play an attacking stroke at all in his 3 balls. Short fine leg, short third man, backward point, and cover up in the circle. Deep point, long off, long on, deep mid wicket, and deep square leg back on the boundary. Tom Curran, who's had a very severe haircut, comes into Daryl Mitchell, back of a length, and he nudges this into the leg side. They set off for 1, they might get 2, they will get 2. Ross Taylor calls him through for the second. Daryl Mitchell moves on to 4 off as many deliveries. Tom Curran's gone very, very short on the sides, and sort of almost wispy, sort of slightly Tintin-ish without the with a slight
Flick.
quiff. At the front, it looks quite menacing, actually. I have to say, Tom Curran, adding to the sort of slightly angular, pointy look that he has. There's a lot of with Johnny Bairstow and Martin Guptill getting rid of their beards and Tom Curran going for that haircut, there's some questionable aesthetic choices I think made by players on both sides.
So when are you getting rid of your beard then? Nashville?
Hopefully never. Ross Taylor might have run himself out here. He would have run himself out if Tom Curran had hit. It was a slower ball which Daryl Mitchell nudged into the leg side. Curran set off very quickly as they thought about a quick single into the leg side. Well, Taylor thought about the single from the non-striker's end, came halfway down the track, was sent back by Mitchell. Curran got to the ball very quickly, got the throw out of his hands very, very quickly, turned around, and had he hit, I think Ross Taylor would have been gone by quite some distance. Really good work from Tom Curran, a reasonable over in the end. He's gone for 16 off his 3, and after 15 overs, New Zealand 105 for 4. Tony and Hendo are going to come in. Bear's going to take you through on ball by ball to the end of the innings, and Steve Jones and I are going to make way. Abandon hope, all you who enter here.
We need your alternative cricket commentary. Bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles. Bringing you cricket commentary. Bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles. Bringing you joy. We need your Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Quite loud.
Yeah, jingle was going a bit distorted, wasn't it?
I think they're just in the headphones. Anyway, here comes Pat Brown. He's in, and he bowls Taylor, who clips it out to a vacant fucking mid-wicket. Jesus.
Vacant fucking mid-wicket.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, we just
Man comes in from around. It's only get 1, thank God.
Tony and I were sitting in the green room. We were watching the Bear on the TV, and we thought, how the hell is he going to commentate when he's got a vape in one hand and a glass of whiskey in the other hand?
I'm quite pissed, I have to say.
Well, I am, but relatively speaking,
I'm more pissed than you, I think.
Probably.
I've carried on because I think that's the only way to go.
Keep going.
But you guys have slowed down. 106 for 4, actually. 15.1 overs. Mitchell is facing up to Brown, who slaps that towards deep mid wicket. There is a man out there who runs around from square leg and stops at 4. They only get a single. I reckon they're going to get about 150 here.
Yeah, I think it's been a very good bowling performance from England, I have to say. Right, now this is interesting. Really?
Okay, tell us it.
Win percentage in T20 cricket has Afghanistan at the top, would you believe? 68%.
Wow.
Of their games. I'm guessing they've not played that many games. India second, and England well down the list, just above Sri Lanka and Scotland. And Zimbabwe are bringing up the rear.
It's a 50-50 game. That's clipped into the leg side, vacant mid wicket once again. I think it's Adil Rashid coming from the boundary, fields it, they're only going a single.
Yeah.
They move on to 108 for 4. I mean, this is the thing about T20. Any short form of the game, this is what 100 and the T10 and all these things are actually, for me, bullshit, is that the shorter the form of the game, the more it gets to a 50-50 scenario, which is fun for the fans.
Let's not
get it wrong.
It's
entertaining,
yes.
But I mean, the chances of winning become so nefarious. It can go either way. And
no, absolutely.
Much slower ball by Brown. Hoyt up to mid-off. They'll scoot through for a quick single. Mitchell gets himself onto 6
It's funny you should be talking about
25 or 20.
Because Messi Jazz sent those numbers And indeed, you're right, Afghanistan are there. But here's England at 51.9%. Well, I worked out all-time T20 internationals, England 104, 155, which is pretty much 55%. And Messi just has them down at 51.9%.
What did you say, 55 out of 104? So it's kind of close, though, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Close enough.
It depends what you count.
It's mathematically right or wrong.
Well, it depends what you count as international, actually.
You stickler.
Guided behind square by Ross Taylor, but a little bit of a misfield behind there.
New Zealand's
but it gets through for
52.
single.
I'd kind of go along with that. I shall have a look for you in a moment.
It's interesting, though. I mean, you look at someone like Ross Taylor. I mean, he's got a fantastic record in Test cricket and ODIs.
Yeah.
And yes, not saying I would say struggling, but I mean, he's only averaging about 25. I guess if you come in at 4 or 5, you don't necessarily get the chance to build those big scores as a T20 player. And he's batting at 5 today. He's got 26 today from 21, but he's not a massive hitter, is he?
No. Well, there you go.
That's Mitchell, though.
Mitchell over long off
all the way.
Last ball the over goes for 6 as it's slap through the line. Nice.
And it's New Zealand, by the way, 160 out of 121, which to me is 51%, not 52.1. So Messers, that's a little bit odd. Some of that maths.
Yeah, back to the drawing board, Messers.
It came from Cricinfo, so
okay.
I'm the one who's questioning Cricinfo because I did my own stats on it. So odd.
Let me play one of these, which is it goes like this.
Well, 116 for 4 off 16 overs. 4 overs left. 6 and over gets the 140. 8 and over gets them about 150.
Well, you think England would feel that they were strong favourites in this? What I would say is that I think England bowled really well. I think the length they bowled has been very good.
This is the thing. I mean, if you get a score of 150, 160 in a T20, the fact is that actually scoring 8, 9 and over for 20 overs on a trot, no matter how many batsmen you got, is never easy.
Well, I'll help you out with the maths, Bear. 8 and over is 160.
Yes.
Right.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's never easy. It's basically more than one a ball with the field.
Yes. Well spotted.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, Jordan is in. Left alone outside the off stump. Well, not left alone, slapped out by Taylor and missed it through the keeper, and there's no run.
Well, welcome to the Open University, where Professor Bear is taking us through advanced mathematics.
Well, I'm not. I mean, the shorter the form of the game, the more luck.
Yeah, no,
is
absolutely,
required,
totally. I mean, to be honest, my Sunday team could go out and play Liverpool for 3 minutes, and I think we'd probably only lose 5-0. So
in 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5, maybe more than that. I don't know. I don't actually play for a Sunday team anymore. But at the time, anyway.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry. More England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem he'll wish he'd joined the Windies team.
Well, it's not a no ball. What the fuck is going on here?
No idea.
Ash Mahotra is the third umpire.
He could have actually man-cadded the Daryl Mitchell there, couldn't he, if he'd been alive to it, because he was making a little ground.
What are they looking for?
Oh, okay, they call for a catch behind.
Okay.
And we're going to see. And that's probably it. Is he scraped the ground, hasn't he? Yeah,
he's scraped the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Oh, actually, there's a little bit of fucking.
Yeah, but I think that's the bottom of the.
That's the bottom of the.
No. Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Or is it pad? Has it flicked the pad? Has it gone by there? I don't know.
It's not fit the front pad. It's not in sync.
No, the frame is wrong here, isn't it? It's all wrong.
I think that's a little snick, actually.
Well, if it is, I'd still think you've got to give it not out, because I don't think that's clear enough, really.
It's a bit like VAR.
Well,
I was just thinking that.
VAR.
Oh, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster.
They can't get it right at all.
No, I mean, why are the referees not going to the side of the pitch to
well,
precisely.
You look at it. Why are you looking from that side? You can't see it from that
No,
side.
that's
They're
a- that's
looking
a
from the leg
terrible,
side, and there's
terrible
supposed to be an
view.
edge on the offside. There was a little nick on the bat as it went through in real time.
But he also does scrape the ground there.
Yeah, he does scrape the ground, but there was an obvious little bit of light on the outside there.
Yes,
See,
Presumably
there.
you're allowed one review, are you? Is that the
just the one review in
Yeah,
T20s,
you
yeah.
can't have more than that.
Well, the one correct.
Well,
review,
it's
yeah.
taken fucking ever.
Well, do you know, okay, you might say that there may be an edge there, but to be honest, he's giving it not out.
What a
If
surprise.
it takes that many times to look at it, then you have to give it not out, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ravi Nair says, in New Zealand, our cricketers looked upon as those who weren't good enough for rugby. Ooh, that's harsh.
No, that's nonsense. I mean, New Zealand
Indeed.
have got some brilliant cricketers, and they always have had.
For a nation with such a small population,
Oh, it's astonishing. It's astonishing.
But having said that, hacked at by Taylor up the square leg, fielded. Get a single.
Messi Jez replied to that saying, I don't believe there is actually any acknowledgement of the existence of rugby in New Zealand right now. Jay Grover. Jay
Very good
Grover says, the bear getting out of his chair should be filmed in slow motion with a CGI Tokyo inserted to the right of the screen.
Who said that?
Jay Grover.
Fuck off.
It's one of the great choreographed moments of guerrilla cricket. Is the bear moving? It's
wonderful.
It is. It's one of those most pleasing things to the eye.
I'm pretty hammered, I have to say. We've been at a quiz since what time? 6 o'clock?
I think
at the bar since 7 o'clock.
I think we just get through to these last 20 overs, Bear, and I think we just might put you out to pasture.
Pasture.
Yeah.
You mean that? You tell him I can get a cab home. Jordan in, flicked by Mitchell up to long on. Look at a single. They move on to 118, but there's only 3 overs left after this.
The thing is, though, we have to say, and to all those people out there listening, that if you expect us to do 5 T20s through the night,
and don't expect us to be
expect us to be pissed, then you are listening to the wrong program.
Exactly. This is like 1 o'clock in the morning when they start.
For T20s, for God's sake, T20s, I tell you.
I'm guaranteeing you, I'll be pissed every time I'm here. Thrashed at by Taylor. Well, mid-off is pretty wide actually, and it goes straight down to long off boundary, 4 runs.
It's Tony's tickle time.
There's a few have tickled me actually. Jay Grover, watching on Facebook is a treat. The bear looks like he's about to order a nuclear strike on an alien planet. Knuckle looks like he's going to order his enemies' wives and children murdered. And Steve looks like he's just disappointed Dr. Frankenstein.
Thrashed at by Taylor. Gets down to long on. He'll get himself a single.
All I can say is I'm as glad I was out of the room at that particular moment when Jago was writing that tweet. I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve.
Toby Abadeo, Rock Me, says, I know the sample size for Afghanistan is much, much lower, but I would love to see them stay that far ahead.
Well, that would be fun, wouldn't it? Absolutely, I agree.
West Indies are over there now. They will be next week.
Indeed, in India. Yeah, they're playing in India, aren't they? But
Dehradun, I presume.
Yep.
What was it? Test and 5 something or others. Horrible down leg side. Has he got enough on that?
Yeah, all the way. I think that's gone all the way. He's picked that up nicely, hasn't he?
If there'd been a man down there at deep square leg, he'd probably caught it though. 6 runs to Mitchell.
2, 4, 6.
It was actually a filthy ball on leg side, wasn't it?
Well, to be honest,
Pick up shot, and then there's no fielder around there.
I mean, he's not bowled badly, but I mean, I think he's picked up 2 wickets with full tosses, hasn't he, Chris Jordan? So those figures are flattering.
Shit takes wickets, Hendo.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with that, but absolutely. But he's had a bit of luck, so he kind of does deserve to go for a 6 from one of his full tosses.
Oh, I suppose. When they got 2 overs left, is it 2 overs?
I think it's 3, Bear. I think it's 3. I think it's 3. You just wander through, and we'll sort of fill in.
You correct me.
We'll fill in the.
We'll sweep up after you.
120.
Mog, by the way, said, I'm more pissed than you, said no one over the age of 17 ever. Is that you said that? I'm more pissed than you. We're having a who's more pissed competition.
I'm pretty smashed. 129 for 4, 17 overs gone. Mitchell's 19 off 10. Pretty good game, Taylor.
Oh, Tom Curran's back, so it gives me the chance to play that wonderful jingle again. I'm going to go for it.
And his first ball smashed over the offside. One bounce out of the covers, and he'll get himself a single, take himself off strike. 33 off 26. Ross Taylor, Mitchell 19 off 10.
It's quite interesting though to look at Ross Taylor's record, and admitting that T20 hasn't been his strongest suit, but the amount of international cricket he's played is phenomenal.
It is.
I mean, he's played something like, I think is it 90 odd tests. He played, I think, 228 ODIs on top of whatever he's played in the T20 firmament.
Curran in, thrashed out towards deep cover, fielded by who's that? Single anyway.
Well,
not timed again. Not timed. Not the first time that they've missed time shots like that.
Out of the back of the hand, though. Wasn't
Lovely delivery, really.
Decent, just inside the tram line, and it's a single.
He's looked alright, Mitchell, I have to say. 20 off 11.
Yeah, they've not really got going, have they? Thrashed out by Taylor out towards deep mid-wicket, length ball by Curran. He'll get himself a single.
That's the thing, though, isn't it, in T20? I mean, your openers have to go off really quickly, or you have to get a partnership quite early on, I think, in a T20 to get that momentum.
Absolutely, someone has to be thrashing it. Oh, well, I disagree where it comes, but it just requires someone to...
But I think it's a partnership, isn't it, generally?
Is it? Generally, I think the person who gets it off and running is sort of singular, driven nicely by...
What a shot.
A beautiful shot by Mitchell. Straight back down past the bowler. Couldn't be cut off by the man at mid-off. And he'll get himself 4 runs, 24 off 12.
2 + 2 is a man.
He smashed that all the way, pretty much all the way along the ground, hasn't he? Absolutely wonderful shot. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure that is the case. I think it's kind of someone takes it on and gets it in, swings in the arc, gets it going, and you get up to 180, 190. But, I mean, the average score has got to be... I mean, if you look at the average score over international T20s, I guarantee you, with 21 spread, as that's flashed out to deep mid-wicket by Mitchell. We get him a single, they think about 2, but they don't get it. I imagine 21 spread between 140 and 160. It's
yeah, I mean,
80% of games.
Yeah, no, I mean, in terms of the number of scores of 190 plus, I think they're quite limited.
Limited, yeah. You know, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I think, if you get 140, if you get anything over 6 and over, closing on 7, between 7 and 8 and over,
well,
you're in with a shout.
Yeah, I'd say 7 and over. I really don't think that if you're getting 120 regularly, you're not going to win that many games.
No, unless the wicket's shit.
Yeah,
and hard. Current in, flashed at by Ross Taylor out to deep square leg. Will get himself a single, no more. But doesn't that
What are you trying to say, Bear? What are you trying to say?
Well, it's pretty predictable, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
whether it's IPL or if you believe that 21 spread is the game, then every match is.
Well, my view about T20 is, obviously it doesn't have. It has its own intricacies, but it doesn't have the intricacies of the longer forms of the game. But if you look at cricket or a game that is bat and ball, where the aim is to just bat the ball as hard as you can and as far as you can, it fulfills that criteria.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And,
I do get that criteria. But that's what I mean. That's why. England's win percentage is 55%.
Yeah.
And New Zealand's 50. Pretty much the average is. You've
well,
got
also
50 chance of winning.
And it's also why we
give it a heave.
We see perhaps lesser teams in terms of strength.
Yes.
Have much more of an opportunity in this form of the game. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a leveller. In that sense.
Yeah. It is.
Shorter format, the more of a lever it is. Chris Jordan is in. He's driven by Ross Taylor out to extra cover. There's a fielder there inside the circle, and ain't no run. Which is why it's more, to a certain degree, it's kind of exciting.
I mean, this is the thing. I think it's exciting and it's enjoyable.
As a spectacle.
Well, as a spectacle, and also in moderation. That would be my view. I mean, when you get so much of it, it does become hard to appreciate some of those elements.
Jordan in, slapped airily. Oh, is that out?
No, he's put it down.
Oh, put it down. That's a pretty good attempt. Is that Vince?
It was James Vince.
James Vince down at deep mid wicket. I think it's put that down. Should have caught it. He got there and dropped it on the dive. I think slapped by Taylor out there. Yeah,
he should have taken.
Oh, he should have taken that.
It's very flat. I mean, it was
very flat, but he got there. He got there. He was in position, and he just spilled it.
Yeah, probably should have had that.
Meantime, Abhishek says Tony with loads of Y's, Bear with loads of R's, and Hendo with loads of O's.
Hello, mate. Hello. Jordan is in 2 for 20 or 3.2, slapped out 2 and cannot beat extra cover. They still get through for a single. He moves on 36 off 30. Mitchell's 26 off 14. Doesn't really seem to have done a lot, Mitchell, when he's 26 or 14.
I think he's done all right. I think he's done very well.
He's done all right, but it's not, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's done well from the position that he's come in at. I mean, I think the problem for New Zealand is the start that they got.
Yeah.
You know, it was quite pedestrian by this standard of the game.
Jordan in. He. Oh, in the air. And there's no one there. Deep mid wicket. 6 for Taylor. Jesus, man, you expect the fielder to be there, wouldn't you? 42 or 31. Rolled his finger over to Chris Jordan, and he was picked up on the slow ball. Half tracker, really.
Jay Grover, in the meantime, says, I'm trying to construct an SR circumstance model on Hendo's mood, depending on where glasses sit on his head.
Intriguing.
That's interesting, yeah.
They're on his forehead at the moment. Jordan in, full toss, outside off stump, attempted drive by Taylor, fielded by Jordan, who's followed through, no run.
Anis Rao says, I wonder whether the win-loss ratio for penalty shootouts in football is also 50-50. Wouldn't be far off.
No, I imagine it wouldn't be.
Message S points out the Cricinfo results include no results. So the win is reduced, Tony. You're right, Messers. When I worked it out, I deliberately discounted no results because on the grounds that you couldn't have won those. So I only looked at the games that were themselves winnable. Not easy to say.
I imagine there's a 7-8% swing, win, no loss, all sides. Driven by Mitchell out to extra cover. Can't beat the fielder. Inside the circle, ends the over.
Well, look at
1 over 11, 147 for 4.
And they've done reasonably well. I mean, certainly this partnership's in pretty progressive. What do they add? 54, these two. Taylor on 28, Mitchell on 26, or 28 that Taylor's got from this particular partnership. The other interesting about, I was astonished really about Taylor, that he's played so much cricket. I think his highest score in T20s is 63.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's got, from about 90 matches, he's got a really low number of half centuries, and he's never scored 100. 100 in T20s is kind of hard, you know, but anyway, looks like a change of bowling for the final.
Pat Brown's going to bowl last over.
Excellent.
He won't bowl.
How old is he? He looks about 12.
Fast. I can't stress this enough. He won't give up. He won't give up. He won't give up. He won't. He won't give up. He won't give up.
Ooh, he's into the air. That's got to be out.
Surely he's
it's dropped short. A man, a fine leg. Horrible shot by Ross Taylor. Tries to carve it into the leg side. Totally mistimed it. I didn't see the speed on the ball. Maybe we'll show him on a replay.
Clever bowling. Clever bowling.
It seems to be a normal ball.
No, it's a cutter. It's a cutter.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a cutter, but it didn't seem to take that much pace off it. And
21, Pat Brown. wearing number
short
40.
a man on 45 coming in. It was on the edge of the circle. A little bit of chat.
Kunal Talani, by the way, says, "Hi guys, listening in after a long time. Good to hear you again."
Yeah. Well,
Thank you very much.
We are likely to be 3 sheets to the wind with these T20s.
Indeed. Shortish. Down the leg side. Tempted to heave by Mitchell. Under edge down to long leg. Gets himself a single. Moves on to 7:15.
You talk about, this has been a bit of a tortured innings from New Zealand, but they're still, and by your standards that you were talking about, they're still going to get. They could between 140
and 160.
They could get 160 here. Yeah.
Yeah, they could do. It's a pretty average score, and the question is, do you get lucky on the reply, go off to a flyer, and then it becomes easy?
Well, I think it's going to be different. We haven't got Jason Roy, have we?
No, we haven't. Heaved by Ross Taylor. This time it is caught. Who's that?
Johnny Bairstow.
Johnny Bairstow.
Pat Brown is
He's
his
a
first
pro.
wicket.
The man is a pro out of deep with wicket boundary, and it's slapped out there by Ross Taylor. 45 of 35. Pretty flat. Good catch by Johnny B. And he is gone. There's a bit of a cross seamer. Don't think too much pace was taken off it.
Boy, what on earth were you playing at?
Decent catch.
Very good catch.
Very good catch. Going at pace. And God, man, how old is that man?
21.
He's 21, Bear.
just
You
had
better
that
be told
conversation.
about
Tell me
10
that.
seconds ago.
Knuckle ran
man.
all the way from the green room to tell you that.
Memory like a fish. Yeah.
Well, Ross Taylor
Yeah.
goes 44 from 35. What I would say about that was that it was the kind of catch that Vince just put down a couple of overs ago,
he
wasn't
did
it?
Indeed.
Very flat, very low, but Johnny Bairstow picked it up really well.
What do you think Johnny B thinks about playing?
What, the fact that he's not going to be in the test team?
Well, not just that, but you put me out here with the kids in the T20s.
No, I don't think he
In the
thinks
B
that
team.
at all. I think
in the
he
B team.
genuinely thinks it's an opportunity to get himself back into the test team
Do
because
you?
runs anywhere. Yes, I do think he thinks that.
Well, okay.
And he certainly attacked, what did he make? 74?
78.
Well, I
78,
presume he
74,
plays. Yeah, but he must be a bit. I think there must be a bit of bridle.
No, I think he knows he's got technical weaknesses
Well, he's
in
he's had
game, and he needs to sort
he's
them
had
out.
a poor run. I mean,
Well, it's true. It's true. But I think his ego probably precludes that, actually. But hey. Anyway, Brown in bowls, heaved at by Santner. No, it wasn't. It was Mitchell.
It was Mitchell.
Down to the long leg, get himself a single. Santner will be on strike.
You will indeed.
2 balls left to go.
I shall jingle him up because he has a fabulous jingle.
Santner baby, get some drift into the pads for me.
It's rather distorted.
An awful good kiwi.
It's on our headphones.
Santner baby, and north them
Don't
in
think
quickly.
that's the headphones, Bear.
Now listen, out there, if you're listening to us, wherever you may be in the world, our headphones are distorting. And so we need new headphones, and the way that you can help us get new headphones,
settings, that's all.
or change the settings, is to give us money by going to patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. I know a lot of you do already. If you want to give us $10 or more, you will end up on the Facebook feed going round for eternity. Your name will be in lights all around the world, watched by millions on Cricket Tracker. And so please help us out if you possibly can, because goodness sake, we've been doing this for years and years and years and years, and I'm absolutely broke now.
So am I.
So please help.
That's 2 people. Brown in bowls, heaved at by Santner out to deep square leg. They will get a single. 151 for 5. 1 ball left to come.
Will they get a signal, or will they get a single, Bear? What do you reckon? Signal or single?
Signal.
No, I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Pat Brown.
Signal from the boundary.
But what was his first international wicket, if you don't count the one he got in the warm-up game? He didn't exactly look overjoyed, did he? It wasn't like big cheers, I've got my first international wicket, everything's fantastic.
Maybe he's just a cool dude.
Well,
He might
maybe he's
just be
very
super
cool, and he's very calm, and he's thinking, I could have got more.
I was thinking, I've done nothing yet. I've yet to, really, stamp my mark on a game as
What do
such.
you think Owen Morgan thinks of? Oh fuck! I've got a bunch of kids who.
Well, it's not kids. I mean, they're good cricketers, Bear. What's the matter with
Oh,
you?
heaved out towards deep mid wicket. Last ball of the innings.
Coming up for
They're
two.
Coming up for two. They will get two. Sam Billings cannot guide that onto the boundary. Slow running from the man who was coming back, but they do get there. 153 for 5, mid score. 6.5 and over required by England, just over, and pretty average, really.
Yeah, it's average, but both teams got a bat on this wicket. We've got to see how New Zealand bowl as well. They've got Lockie Ferguson, they've got Tim Southey to bowl. Not a lot of swing there. I mean, there generally isn't in these sort of games. I think that was a pretty good bowling performance from England, to be honest, especially early on. They really restricted them. Guptill got two, Munro hit one or two big shots, but he was struggling a little bit at the beginning. Seifert batted reasonably well. I mean, everyone's got over sort of a run of ball up there, but I mean, look at those figures. Jordan perhaps a bit flattered by those figures of 2 for 28, but I think everyone bowled well, particularly at Munro early on. I thought,
yes.
and didn't allow him the width that he wanted. And as he was making room for himself outside leg stump, they were bowling into that leg stump.
Yes.
And that really restricted him. He struggled. They've seen quite a bit of Colin Munro. He got a big 100 in one of the warm-up games. So they've got an idea of what they want to do to him. And I think they executed it pretty well.
I think you're dead right, actually. And,
Anyway, any tweets?
Well, yes,
Tony?
a couple. I will finish this off here. Part Badshah, docked in Dublin, says the Afghanistan versus West Indies matches will apparently be in Lucknow rather than Dehradun.
Oh, really?
Jay Grover says hypocrisy is inevitable, but there are limits. Me making judgments about other people's substance abuse would cause the Hadron Collider to attain sentience just so it could top up its sin at the back. The lack of humanity's basic moral fibre. Okay.
That's good to hear.
Jay Graver also went on to say, as someone several sheets to a hurricane, I think you're just connecting with your base respect. Lucy Reese sends us a nice picture replying to us with a sort of gif of a young lady in an orange ball, and I'm not quite sure what changed the overs, Lucy. I'm not quite sure what that's...
catching the ball or missing the ball?
She's dropping the ball, I think. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay. Well, we will be putting the bear to bed very shortly.
No, you won't. I'm back. More pissed in about 20 minutes.
We're going to be locking him in his cage.
Yeah, we are going to carry him out.
I'm the boss.
We're going to carry him out. We're going to possibly put him in the fridge where he'll be happiest. And we'll have the second innings. I suppose we might as well just talk through, really, didn't we, to the second innings, because otherwise we don't want to lose you. But I would say, listen, we've got 5 T20s in the middle of the night.
Followed by 2 tests.
And followed by 2 tests from 10 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the morning. So, really, we need you to show us how much you value us by...
show us your love, baby.
Show us your love.
Show us your love.
Give us money and
Patreon,
maybe...
baby. Patreon.
Maybe even a little bit of this.
We need your money. Alternative cricket commentary. Bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are gorillas. We need your Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and
I'm hammered.
You're hammered. The rest of us have had a long day. We've been quizzing. We've been drinking, we've been eating. Had a fantastic curry at the quiz, actually. I have to say, the curry was
Naresh Ray, who's on Crick Tracker, simply says, nice.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Bit like the guy on the Fast Show with the jazz.
Exactly. Well, you said mention jazz.
Nice
That was
jazz,
it. You see, we didn't mention jazz, but something made me think about it.
It's nice jazz. Yeah. So to be honest, I think more than ever we need your money, don't we? I think more than ever. Kind of guerrilla cricket may be on its last legs or not, depending on how much you value us. Because really, we've had the odd sponsor here and there, but the Patreon contributions have gone down. People are withdrawing their money from us. So we can't keep going. We can't keep this flat. and we can't do these things the night.
I can't live on a subsistence wage.
And the bear can't live on a subsistence wage. I no longer have any cash whatsoever. So, really, if you want Guerrilla Cricket to continue, and if you value us, and I know some of you do, you do need to try and persuade other people to give us some money.
Jonathan Shawland does.
What does he value us?
He does. He says it's good to have a Guerrilla Cricket back in my time zone again. I don't mind if anyone is not completely sober. Well, that's very good and understanding. And you may well have spotted that one or two of us aren't.
That may potentially be the understatement of the evening, as the bear falls out of the room. Oh my goodness me! Ian Ward and Bumble with a ridiculous cap are there for Sky Sports tonight.
Grey is the colour for Sky tonight.
It is.
Mog says, I'll support you, but I'm not sending you any dick pics again. Did he send any before?
I wasn't aware of it. And I really don't want to see those, so there's no encouragement on that front. Mog, you support us in very many ways. You are one of our Uber fans, I have to say.
Not the Uber we got tonight.
Not the Uber we got
third
tonight.
attempt.
But Alfie was brilliant. But it is really getting to that point now where, we more than ever need your money. And, we tried every other avenue. At times we've had sponsorship, but it doesn't always last. And I just think that, well, I don't know how you feel, Tony, but I think, we need a bit of boost, don't we? We need a bit of a boost. We need an enormous amount of dollars stuffed up our backsides, really, don't we?
Well,
basically.
It's a place to leave a deposit, I suppose.
Indeed.
I can tell you, I'm looking forward to this series, and I'm very much looking forward to these two tests. In the podcast that Knuckle and I did in the week with Ian O'Brien, even Ian, a man who played, 20, 30 odd tests for New Zealand?
26 tests, something
26,
like that.
I think. He was rather saying he felt New Zealand got forgotten corner of the world, it's not Australia, And I was saying, well, look, I think these tests are going to be really interesting. New Zealand's got one of the best attacks in the world. The fact that you have the opportunity to look at new talent like Crawley and like Sibley, I think that's phenomenally exciting. I think the fact that there's no World Test Championship points up for grabs is neither here nor there, because those haven't been up for grabs for the previous 100 and however many years.
I like the World Test Championship. In many ways, I don't think it goes far enough, and the fact that series like this are left out of it is probably part of why it doesn't go far enough. It is an attempt to bring some rationality to a frankly ridiculous international cricket schedule, and part of the reason it's ridiculous is that the ICC is not a governing body and doesn't actually have any centralised power over the schedule. But look, I agree. New Zealand are, to my mind, the second best Test team in the world. I think probably India have pulled ahead in the last year or so, thanks to the emergence of the bowling attack primarily. But New Zealand have as you say, a really, really good attack and a really well balanced pace attack. You could have theoretically a Neil Wagner who averages probably 27 or 28 in Test cricket and is superb in the condition in his role, might not actually play all of the Test matches because you've got Lockie Ferguson and Matt Henry.
There's only two.
Well, he might not play both of them potentially. You could end up breaking up a really, really good attack. Southey and Bolt, we know, have been superb for years and years. Kane Williamson is one of the very best batterers of his era. Ross Taylor's got a great record. Tom Latham, Jeet Ruvel are very, very good at the top of the order, and you've got a good middle order as well. Probably hung on BJ Watling, who's hugely impressive. And look, this New Zealand T20 side, I agree, Henry. I don't think they batted at all well today.
Well, really, apart from Darren pretty well.
I do. That's certainly true, particularly at the top. But there was a lot of. I thought the way they bowled to Monroe was really clever. I thought to not allow him to free his arms, particularly to change up the pace. Both of the Curran brothers, I think, bowled very intelligently, and I think Morgan's Yusuf Rashid, I think, was pretty clever as well. I think Tom Curran, the only England bowler not to take a wicket, but I think he bowled really well.
Yeah, and then you can look at it and you say, well, actually, if you can bowl at sort of 5, 6 and over in this form of the game, you're bowling damn well. It doesn't really matter about the wickets in that respect.
6.25 and over of a completed 4-over spell is superb. Any level of T20 international cricket, never particularly when you're going up against seasoned international players, and most of these guys are seasoned internationals. It was Daryl Mitchell, who's not new to the side, but relatively new to the side, who really actually gave that New Zealand innings some impetus.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I mean, I talked about Ross Taylor. I mean, he's not got a great record at this in this particular
his
form
strike
of the game.
rate's not brilliant.
No, not at all. And you're right. Matt Mitchell played a couple of really strong shots, especially down the ground. You know, and again, looking forward to this Test match series, or 2-match series. I still think it's a fascinating little series, and I think, you know, as England, if you want to say that you're England fans and you look at it and you say, we're going to have a look at some new batsmen, we're going to have a look at some new bowlers, and that's an important progression for England, because, you know, we're looking down the barrel of losing in the next couple of years. It's certainly probably in the next couple of years you're going to lose
Jimmy Anderson, yeah.
You possibly are going to lose
Broad.
Stuart Broad.
Yeah.
So you've got to find these guys. So it's going to be fascinating to see how they take on this challenge.
Yeah, you know, does Saqib Mahmood get it? Obviously, we've got Jofra Archer. I should just say, before England's innings starts, James Mitchell has become a $10 patron.
Hey.
Thank you so much, James.
Any relation to Daryl or John? If you are, we want to know.
Or indeed the other Daryl Mitchell.
Martin Lawrence is with us too. Hello, everyone. I hope you're well. Enjoy the series.
Yeah, I think we will.
Well, I don't think we're going to get the bear back on. I don't know if Steve. What was the state of Steve?
Snoring.
Oh, he's snoring. Okay, well, we might as well stay as we are.
Lightweight.
Yeah.
6'7" lightweight.
Lightweight. Anyway, we've got England out there.
England's newest opening partnership in T20 international cricket. One of them smashed a very quick 80 the other day in the warm-up game, and the other one maybe going to Yorkshire from Middlesex. Who knows?
Last I heard, he's
smarter than the average besto. Johnny Bestow's been this good since daycare, so all put on your wigs and let the crimson hand blow. I want the Pope to give him his own Lord's Prayer. Oh.
He faces up the first ball from the New Zealand T20 international captain, captaining in his 8th game. Little bit of away swing from said captain, driven to Colin de Grandhomme at extra cover by Johnny Bairstow. There is no run.
Oh, yeah, that did swing.
Did swing a little bit, and it's quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, it just seems like yesterday that I was watching Tim Southey make his debut and hitting those. That 70 or so, wasn't it? I think batting at
11 years ago.
I know, but it just seems like yesterday. It's incredible.
Lots of men up in the circle, as you'd expect. This is fuller and straighter. It doesn't swing so much, and it's clipped up to Ish Sodhi at mid-on. I think the way that Sodhi and Santner bowl will be crucial for New Zealand. Other Rashid, I think, bowl pretty well for England. A couple of drag downs notwithstanding. Sodhi and Santner both in the top 10 for T20 ranked international bowlers. We should jingle up, by the way, the New Zealand T20 international captain.
What's up, Dad? What's cooking? What's up, Dad? Oh, yeah.
Heavy ring on the offside, plus a slip. This one swings into Johnny Bairstow. Beautiful skills on show from the experienced Tim Southey. Not really an LBW shout because it was clearly going down leg, but it thudded into Bairstow's pad and runs away into the offside. There is no run. You're listening to GorillaCricket.com and our coverage of England's tour of New Zealand. Big inside edge, actually, on that last delivery from Johnny Bairstow. Yes, so you're listening to our coverage of England's tour of New Zealand. This is the first T20 international. England put New Zealand into bat, and New Zealand managed only 153 for 5. A bit of a scratchy innings from most of the New Zealand batters, apart from Daryl Mitchell. England are none for none after 0.3 overs, or 3 balls. This is a thrash by Johnny Bairstow as he tries to thump it through the offside ring. Thick inside edge fielded by, I think that's Colin Munro on the 45, and there is no run. Similarly economical start for New Zealand as for England with the ball.
Jules says, send us a picture of his dad, actually. Morning, chaps. My dad is at the cricket over in New Zealand. Not one for using a camera, though.
Ah, lovely. Slip has gone out to short third man. There's 2 men setting one behind square on the offside. Southey in. A short ball which Bairstow has to wait an age for. It was a slower ball into the pitch. Bairstow loves playing that sort of pick-up pull shot over the leg side, but he mistimed this horribly and it rolls out to Ross Taylor at mid-wicket. There is no run. 5 dot balls. Johnny Bairstow, not a man who likes to be tied down.
Yeah, it's interesting. Johnny Bairstow out there with Dawid Malan, and Malan, fabulous really. Very short or truncated, but he hasn't really had a chance to to play a lot of T20s. We got 450s in 5 innings.
Got
It's
70
amazing.
odd in his debut, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's a horrible ball from Southey. An attempted in-swinger, which goes horribly wrong down the leg side, taken by Tim Seifert down the leg side. First run for England, but it's a wide. Yeah, he does bat up the order for Middlesex in T20 internationals. He opens indeed. So he's batting in his position that he plays in the Blaster. Tom Banton, the very, very exciting Somerset player, not yet making his debut as Southey's in. Last ball of the over is punched by Johnny Bairstow back to him. There is no run. Apart from that wide, a really good over from Tim Southey. England won for no loss.
I have not cut back the money. I'm not quite sure what he's referring
Well,
to.
I guess me pleading for money.
Oh, yeah.
I certainly don't expect money from Joe.
He also says I'm not sending any more dick pics.
I thought it was Mog.
We can only say we're extraordinarily grateful. Martin Lawrence says, I sincerely hope Guerrilla Cricket can continue. I have got to know some really nice friends because of listening to your broadcast. I also like the podcast. Oh, great, Martin. Well, I'm glad you enjoy that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun doing it, and we will keep going. It's fun to just keep the word of Guerrilla alive while we're not on air, which isn't actually very much, frankly. Pace at the other end.
It's Lockie.
Yeah.
Real Lockie.
Lachlan Hammond Ferguson.
Hey.
He'll have had his tea.
He'll be wanting your tea.
A piece of violent dates. He's bowling. See him kneeling at your head.
Lockie Ferguson, I'm glad to see, has grown the moustache back, or is in the process of doing so. Lockie Ferguson was brilliant for New Zealand during the 50-over World Cup. Superb at all stages of the innings. We've got a slip in place, a short third man, a point, a cover point and a mid-off, so a heavily reinforced offside ring for Darvin Milan, who we should get a jingle for.
Very good point.
Short, fine leg, and mid on up in the circle, and must be a man back at deep square leg. Oh, give Milan a jingle after his first ball, which he cuts powerfully out to deep point, who's the other boundary rider. Martin Duptill, not often found on the boundary in the power play, but Milan is off the mark with a single, the first run off the bat for England.
The next generation David.
That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
Darvin Milan, congratulations.
Lockie Ferguson at the end of his mark. Tim Southey at mid-off, giving his team some encouragement. New Zealand, by the way, in kit watch, have gone to a sort of a grey fronted and backed number. It's a little bit boring, to be honest. The New Zealand have set very high standards in terms of their kits over the years. This is not one of them. Nicely driven by Johnny Bairstow as Ferguson pitches this up. Quick already, 149.4 kilometres an hour, but fielded at cover point, and there is no run. So it's there's sort of grey across the top of the front, then the this black horizontal panel showing the sponsors logo, then mostly black with a grey with a few black stripes, and the back is mostly black. England have the red kit with the blue trousers on. And for those of you watching in black and white, the red is behind the brown. This is outside off stump and cut over the top of the point by Johnny Bairstow. He gets off the mark with a single as well, down to Mitchell Santner on the deep point boundary. Bairstow and Milan on one each. Bairstow, though, off 1 off 8.
Lucy Rees wants to know, will Bairstow be looking to prove a certain point in the T20 series?
We discussed this at length on the podcast.
Yes, he will.
You kind of get the impression that Johnny Bairstow is always trying to prove a point, even if the point doesn't need proving. But I think he is playing with a certain amount of anger and a certain amount of look what I can do in this series. Ferguson into Darvin Milan. An LBW appeal to a ball that pitched a mile outside leg stump. Would have taken out middle stump, but pitched outside leg stump. I think Milan beaten for pace as much as anything as he tried to whip it through the leg side. It thuds off his pad into the offside, and there is no run. Lockie Ferguson not going for any of this subtlety stuff, just trying to wag it down as fast as humanly possible, which from Lockie Ferguson is pretty quick. One of the fastest bowlers on show during the World Cup.
Came straight back after his broken thumb in Sri Lanka and took himself 3 wickets in that first warm-up game, didn't he?
That's right. Ferguson in. Fifth ball of the over is blocked by Darvin Milan into the leg side. Again, slightly beaten to pace, 151.3 kilometres an hour. There is no run. Neither side, really, with the exception of Daryl Mitchell, has found it at all easy to hit through the line on this pitch. It doesn't appear to be that slow.
Well, I was just thinking exactly what I was just thinking. I mean, England, I thought, bowled very well in their first 4 or 5 overs. There was 1 over from Curran, wasn't there? They got tonked around. But the same thing appears to be happening here from a New Zealand perspective. The bowling is extremely tight and not that easy to get away.
Ferguson in, goes for the Yorker. Milan digs this out just about. I think can safely say that Milan was troubled by Ferguson's pace in that over. Just a 2 off it. England 3 for no loss after 2. Only 2 of those off the bat. I'm curious. It doesn't seem to be holding up particularly. The pitch doesn't seem too paced. That to any great extent. It doesn't seem sticky. I'm not sure it's a belter, but
I'm not sure it might be just holding up a little bit. They don't seem. Neither side yet had really shown that they've been able to time the ball. Maybe it's early series rustiness on both sides.
It's a curious start from, Guptill, Monroe, Bairstow and Milan are all very powerful players. Just the 1 over for Tim Southey, and that brings this man into the attack for New Zealand.
Scott Kugelin.
Yes, indeed. Son of a former international.
Kugelin, you better bowl a good line. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
In he comes, right arm over the wicket, and is driven beautifully by Johnny Bairstow. Picked up, shoveled slightly with a sort of short arm drive, closed the face to make sure that he got it wide of mid-on, and Johnny Bairstow has his first boundary.
1, 2, 3, 4.
My innings going, great guns. I hit the ball, 4 runs. I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Risk and reward bowling straight at Johnny Bairstow. He does miss a lot through the gate, but he can be incredibly powerful through the leg side. There's a shortish mid-wicket in place. Colin de Grandhomme is the only one who could really call a catcher. In comes Kugelin, right arm over the wicket, and that's picked up by Johnny Bairstow. He tried to pick it up at least, and didn't time it at all, and it bounces and bubbles to Ish Sodhi at mid-on. There is no run. Quite quick from Kugelin, 140 odd kilometres an hour.
Kugelin, interesting fellow in the sense of his father played 2 tests for New Zealand, and one of the amazing things that he did in one of those tests, I'll come back to it in a moment.
As Johnny Bairstow's on strike, bat aloft, he's on 5 off 10. The England right-hander, shorn of beard as Kugelin comes in. Horrible ball down the leg side, pretty much a leg stump half volley, and Johnny Bairstow says, "Thank you very much, Scott, I'll just whip you for 6 over long leg."
Johnny Best is smarter than the average best.
It's good enough, we'll get his jingle again. It's a lovely shot.
Pretty horrible ball there.
Yeah, it was a leg it's not quite a half volley, but it was a length ball on leg stump, and I was talking about Johnny Bairstow's power over the leg side, even with, particularly given that no one was within probably 10 yards of where that ball crossed the boundary. It's pretty much a free hit for Johnny Bairstow. Strike rate is actually not that great in international T20s. It's 129. This is clipped by Bairstow straight to de Grandhomme at mid-wicket. There is no run, a little bit shorter on that occasion from Kugelin.
Kugelin, his dad, Chris Kugelin, took a catch in his first test match, the 1 of 2, which took Richard Hadley to the head of the test bowling line.
Oh, right. So overtaking would have been Couple Dave then at the time, I think.
Yeah, indeed. 1988, I think it was.
Oh, no, Couple Dave overtook Hadley, because the other way around.
Right.
As Kugelin is in. A leg delivery, Bairstow climbs into this, again, with no protection out deep on in the mid-wicket region. That was a really poor ball from Kugelin, and Bairstow has launched this 1 bounce 4. So Bairstow, having been 1 of 8 going into this over, is now 15 off 13.
No,
yeah, it was just a nothing delivery, really.
That's true. I mean, I think it's not just. I don't think with Bairstow it's just about his power. It's about his timing, isn't it? In this form of the game, obviously he can hit the ball, but there's just sort of almost a lack of effort in some of his shots.
Well, he doesn't have much of a follow-through, really, unless he's hitting down the ground. It's a lot of checked shots and a lot of strong forearms.
Yeah.
Last ball of what's been a pretty horrible over from Kugelin, and it doesn't end much better, frankly. A half volley outside off stump. Bairstow opens the face and steers this very, very hard indeed through backward point for 4. 18 off Scott Kugelein's first over. Bairstow's 19 off 14. Milan 1 off 4. England off and running in properly this time. 21 for none off 3 overs.
It's interesting. I do think actually that I should warn my colleagues here that I suspect that it may be us 3 till the end.
Oh really? Why?
On the basis of the detritus in the detritus even.
Ferguson into David Milan, who will not just be bowled at with extreme pace. He cleared his front leg, bent the back leg, and whipped this away to the left hand of mid-on for 4. Bit of a smear, but an effective smear.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a T20 shot. It's perfectly acceptable. It's not aesthetically a delight.
No, but mid-on was up in the circle, so he just had to get it past him, and he knew it was 4. It's a pretty quick outfield here at the Hagley Oval, hosting, amazingly, its first T20 International. Ferguson in, bowled, much tighter line to off stump, and again, Milan rather hurried into his semi-defensive prod. It goes to cover, there is no run.
It does seem remarkable that Dawid Milan has played so few T20s when he's got such a good record when he has played.
And he's playing a variety of different positions for England.
And it's extraordinary, really. 4 50s.
Well, he's done well opening for Middlesex in the blast. I have to say,
England
this
are pretty well stocked for T20 openings, given that Butler and Roy aren't in this squad. Pick up by David Milan. He's timed it so badly, actually, that it didn't get within 10 yards of Mitchell Santner out there on the deep square leg boundary. I thought Milan had picked that up so well that it had gone for 6. Then I thought it was going to go straight down Santner's throat, and in the end it bounced 10 yards short. Milan picks up a single. Again, mistimed from David Milan. It's interesting to see how Ferguson bowls to Bairstow. We've got short third man, a point, a cover, mid-off, mid-on, square leg and short fine leg up in the circle. Certainly a man back at mid-wicket, possibly a man back at deep point as well. Very wide outside half. A good slower ball from Lockie Ferguson. It's the first one he's bowled today, and Bairstow had to stretch for that to try and get it away through the offside, and fell over in doing so, just inside the wide line. So no need for the umpire to spread his wings.
Absolutely, completely done by that delivery, wasn't he? I mean, he was expecting it to be quicker than that. I think
back of the hand slower ball, I think, from Lockie Ferguson, really well disguised.
Yeah. Just inside the wide line, so that was good as well.
Ferguson signalling to his leg side field. Yes, he's moving mid-wicket a bit square. So yes, the men back are at deep mid-wicket, and I think somewhere on the deep point boundary. Bairstow stands and delivers, goes very deep in the crease to try and turn a full delivery into a half volley, really, or a length delivery. Smashed it pretty hard, but all along the ground, straight to mid-off. There is no run. Another change to the field. Deep point's gone back now. So who's going to come up? Maybe someone on the leg side is going to come up. Deep point can't have been back last ball. There must have been someone out on the leg side. So another one of the leg side fielders is coming. Yeah, up comes mid wicket. So the men back are at deep point and deep square leg. In comes Ferguson, last ball of his second over, the 4th of this England innings. Up to the crease now, Ferguson bowls, and Bairstow, I think, seeing that deep point, that short third man was up, tried to go way outside leg stump and run this down to pass the man at short third man, but Ferguson followed him. Good bit of cat and mouse and clever bowling, I think, from Ferguson into the body of Johnny Bairstow, as he could do nothing with it. There is no run.
Also, again, taking the pace of the ball is another 121k delivery. But even though Bairstow got into that position, there just wasn't the pace of the ball to do anything.
Yeah, and it kept following him. Scott Kugelein's over, having gone for 18. That one went for only 5. Kugelein was rather an outlier. England 26 for no loss after 4.
Yeah, I'm curious to see whether we'll see any more of Kugelein for the time being. No, Southey is coming back into the attack.
Yep, the captain bringing himself back on. Does he get a jingle for bringing himself back on?
Well, I thought about it, but he's had a jingle very recently. Don't want to get him too cocky.
No, don't spoil him.
Short third man and short fine leg certainly up in the circle. I'll give you the rest of the field when I can. In comes Tim Southey. First ball of his second over is a good Yorker. Little hint to swing again, I think, from Tim Southey. Just a little bit of tail in. Milan digs this out, and Southey fields well off his own bowling. Diving to his right, there is no run. Yeah, short third man, cover mid-off, mid-on. mid-wicket, square leg and short fine leg up in the circle. So 4 men saving 1 on the leg side. Some again probably deep point and deep square leg. Sorry, there's only 3 men. I miscounted. The square leg umpire as a fielder. As in comes Southey. Slow ball, and Milan again tries to slug this past mid-on, but didn't have the pace to work with that Ferguson gave him in the last over, and it just goes straight to mid-on. There is no run. Milan's barely timed a ball in this innings.
Just the one. He's slapped away for 4, didn't he?
Even that wasn't that well timed.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a decent enough shot, but it wasn't. As I said, it wasn't
pretty.
I know it wasn't pretty. Absolutely.
Mog says cricket really needs to fuck off this pitched outside leg bollocks. Even things up a little bit more.
I disagree. The men back now are at deep square leg and deep mid-wicket. Points come up in the circle. Milan tries to smash this down the ground, but is beaten on the outside edge through to Tim Seifert behind the stumps, and there is no run. Milan 6 off 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for Milan and where he sees his position in this team, isn't it? Because he's thinking to himself, well, look, I'm in here for Jason Roy at the moment. I've got to do something really spectacular.
Yeah, and Butlers.
And Butler to come, of course, and Stokes as well. I mean, it's
well, I mean, those two
him.
particularly because they open for England, and Tom Banton, of course, waiting in the wings.
Well, yeah. So
there's a lot of competition for places in this England team. Oh, nearly a brilliant catch from the man at deep square leg. Milan hit that so hard that despite Martin Guptill's flinging a hand up at square leg and getting about half a hand on it, it still goes for 4. Actually, for Martin Guptill, that's quite a simple catch. Actually, I think he wasn't. It thought it was coming to him quicker than. Sorry, it was coming slower to him than he thought it was. He had more time than he realised. Went with 1 hand when he probably could have gone with 2. Ended up tipping it over the bar for 4.
I think that's that World Cup catch he took off Steve Smith.
Oh, wonderful! That short fine leg off a full-blooded pull shot. This from Southey is full outside off stump. Milan tries to smash this down the ground, but just doesn't get that much on it. Off the thick inside part of the bat, it goes to mid-off. There is no run. Milan, despite those 2 boundaries, is 11 off 12. Bairstow going at just over a runnable, 19 off 17. 18 off those off that 1 over from Scott Kugelheim.
Yeah, no, I suppose the other thing is that England haven't lost a wicket yet, so that's they'll feel that's a pretty good platform for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you 8 and over with 10 wickets in hand should be fairly simple. As Southey's in, slow ball ends up as a full toss, but Bairstow can do nothing with it other than just nudge it to Ish Sodhi at mid-on. They come through for a single. Bairstow on 20, Milan off on 11. Neither going at any particular pace. England 32 for none after 5. We'll have a little shuffle around in the seats. I think Tony and I will switch positions.
Oh, we can do that. Yes, let's do that.
Yep. You owe us all right. You think this alternative cricket commentary stuff comes cheap? Well, we need some dollar bills to help pay our bills, so please go to patreon.com/GorillaCricket and sign up to make a regular monthly donation. You know there is literally nothing like Gorilla Cricket's coverage, so don't be tight. Dip into your virtual pocket and throw some cash our way. See, Rihanna knows. Patreon.com/GorillaCricket.
Yes.
One has to think it's
the World Cup is on display there. Look.
One has to think that's slightly cruel in New Zealand.
What's that?
Showing them the World
Showing
Cup.
them the World Cup.
It is a little harsh, isn't it? It is what you could have won.
Oh dear. It's Jimbo and all
But
over.
for boundary countbacks.
Anyway, got to change of bowling, a bit of spin.
It is going to be Mitchell Santner, 30.
Santner, baby. Get some drift into the pads for me. And an awful good keeper. Santner, baby, and earth them in quickly tonight.
Well, I think he's bowling from the Port Hills end towards the Botanical Gardens. So someone tell me if I got that wrong. He's left arm. He's left arm around. And this is driven through mid-off by Johnny Bairstow all the way for 4 runs.
Yeah, lovely shot.
It's me, Sanshi. It's me, Sanshi.
The appreciative, knowledgeable voice to my right just purrs at the timing that went into that. Just glorious, wasn't it?
Just the timing, the placement as well.
Timing and placement, perfect combo.
Lovely, just opening the wrist to get it into
In
the
he
gap.
comes again and again, giving himself a bit of room. Bairstow. This time it doesn't work and it goes straight to mid-off. 36 without loss.
I thought Santner as well, at times bowled beautifully during the 50-over World Cup, even though he probably didn't get the number of wickets he deserved, but I think particularly in the semi-final against India, he was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah.
Bairstow stands with that bat raised. He's lofted this. Did that actually hit the square leg umpire on the way through?
I don't think he got hold of it as he wanted to.
He certainly didn't get hold of it, and it seemed to almost stop as he was pulling it.
I thought it came off the
through square leg.
I thought it came off the bottom part of the bat and just sort of dribbled.
Well, maybe it was a dribble. For some reason, it seemed to just stop a little bit. That could have been our reception, of course, and the Bears sort of Heath Robinson bits of string tied to a tin can somewhere on the roof.
I mean, it's actually a laptop hooked up to an HDMI
Oh,
cable.
right,
It's
okay.
fairly, it's reasonably mainstream technology, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
not
All
ideal. It is not. It is not ideal. Santner's bowled, I think, a couple of genuine arm balls in this over so far.
He has a very studied way of going about his business to Santner. This one is lofted and it's unfortunately edged by Milan straight to backward point. Ish Sodhi has just pouched the easiest catch he will probably ever get in his life. And Dawid Malan has to go for 11. New Zealand have their first wickets. England are 37 for 1. Yeah. 11 off 13, 24 minutes he was there, 5 scoring shots, strike rate of 84. Not an innings. If he wanted to really make his mark on the series, make his mark on England, force his way into the selectors' minds for events beyond this T20 series, that's not the start he would have wanted.
No, but I think that's the thing he's up against. I mean, you are asking Dawid Malan to go out there and play
impressed
a
like crazy
wonderful
every time,
innings
yeah.
pretty much every time because of the strength that England have got. And it's very difficult for him. I feel for him a little bit.
It is, but he doesn't have to be a wonderful innings, but under a run of ball for quite a few deliveries faced is considerably worse than wonderful.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But you've got this is a man that's played now 6 games over extended period of time. It's very difficult to get any sort of momentum. Or feel you don't feel part of the team when you're in that sort of situation. I think it makes it difficult.
It's still the beating hearts of Hampshire fans.
It is
It
indeed.
is this man, the elegant maker of glorious 30s. He's onto the back foot, and he's managed to steer this wide of point, and he's got himself 4 runs off his first ball.
Well, I'll give him a
James
4.
Vince.
Of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
Yes, indeed, it's this man. Enough of that.
In comes Sodhi again. Down the track comes Vince. This is pushed away to a wide mid-off. He'll take himself an easy single. Johnny Bairstow, who's gone about his business pretty well, hasn't he, Bairstow?
Yeah.
25 off 21.
Yeah, it has. Vince, I think, what was good about that shot, it was how well he controlled it, wasn't it? The one that he got at the forefront.
He used his feet for the second one. Okay, he didn't net him a boundary, but he's looking lively from the off, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, for all of the criticisms of Vince at Test level, I don't think he's not done badly at times. I mean, he's played some good Test innings, particularly in Australia, but in the short form of the game, he's superb.
I think
That's true.
I kind of feel like if Vince had gone on in that innings in Brisbane in the 2017 series, when he got 80 odd and got himself run out by Nathan Lyon, if you remember.
Yeah, brilliant run out.
And I just think if he'd gone on then, it might have made all the difference to his Test career. Unfortunately, he didn't, as we saw. Anyway, change indeed.
It's Sodhi it is.
Indeed. And one of my favourite
Came
pitches.
on to the scene in 2013. From his hand, leg is spinning. He loves naan bread,
He is a right arm over the wicket, and Vince just flicks this, but flicks it straight to mid wicket, and there is no run.
I mean, Vince is one of those players that everyone wants to see succeed because he is such a joy to
When
watch.
he is, you're right. When he's on song and the strokes are flowing, particularly that cover drive of his, it's terrific. This one he steps back to, steers away quite magnificently.
Beautiful.
And you heard the orgasmic expulsion of delight from Knuckle to my left, because it was absolutely gorgeously placed and timed. Lovely use of the feet. Steered away, and it's 4.
Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
In comes Sadie again. Down the track again comes Vince. He seems to be more comfortable at the moment finding his way through the offside and not quite as comfortable flicking it off his legs, Hendo, does he? That's twice he's looked to whip it away through mid-wicket, and both times it's gone straight to the field.
And the offside is known to be his strength.
Sodhi again is in. Ooh, that one tossed up a little bit more. And as if to prove the point, he was again trying to work that through leg, and this one rather uppishly bobbled its way to long on.
That was nicely
Where
bowled.
the weirdo himself, Mr. Munro.
I don't know, Tony. I think he was actually trying to make room to hit that through the offside
again, and then not quite
and
getting
just didn't
it.
quite
It was
get it.
nicely bowled by
No, you could be right.
It was nicely bowled by Sodhi. It was a sort of a top spin. There's a lot of dip and drift, and he didn't get to the pitch.
5 runs and 2 dot balls from this over so far. Flicked this one, he does get off his legs, but just back with a square leg, takes an easy single. And that was Bairstow, in fact. So Vince will be back on strike. Bairstow on 26, Vince on 10, 48 for 1.
I'm quite a long way behind
England.
Quite a long way behind on tweets, so I'll go through at the end of the
Catch
over.
those up shortly. Sodhi again hops in. He's going to hop into James Vince. This one is a full toss and flicked off his hip by Vince, but only down to deep mid wicket and just a single. So 7 off that Sodhi over. 49 for 1.
Yeah, 19 minutes ago, Mog said, redact comment about player now bowling, which I can only imagine was Scott Kugelheim. Jay Grover says, if I didn't eat for 2 days a week, so I could probably slip you an extra 20 bar a month, or I could reoffend, get locked up, and then sublet my flat.
Oh, good idea.
I don't know who'd look after my books.
These are all legitimate ways to make money.
Mog says, well, this game looks like it'll be over, so when should I start sending in the T20 World Cup jingles for PNG and Namibia and the Dutch, etc.? Given that tournament's not for another year, I think we've got a little bit of time.
Bit of time.
I bet preparedness is all well and good.
Send them as soon as you like.
Official Jules, whose parents are at the game, says, my mum's involved now, and sends a picture of his mum holding up a paper sign that says Gorilla Cricket.
Well done, Mum.
Get
well
in.
done, Mum. Well done, Mum.
Fantastic. Whereabouts in the ground, I wonder? I think we're looking towards the Botanic Gardens end now as Santner comes left arm around, and this one is stroked quite sumptuously away to deep cover, but there is a man there, and it will only be a single, but it deserved more because it was just a very elegant strike. You're right, Hendo, I see what you mean. I mean, when he plays those offside shots, even if they're just singles, they look quite gorgeous, don't they?
And the other thing I was going to say is that I don't think he generally does look bad ever. He gets out for low scores, but he doesn't look bad in getting those low scores.
Bairstow on strike, and that was flicked off his hip. And he will get himself a single to leg side stroke there. 51 for 1, the 50 up for England.
I often think that aesthetically beautiful players, and we saw this with Ian Bell, are judged against much higher standards.
Yeah, it's possible.
Probably unfairly.
Well, David Gower is a great case in point from previous generation as Vince steps back, guides this away through point, and will take another single. Actually, they may have got 2 there.
Yeah,
they got 2.
that.
Yes, they did.
The throw wasn't particularly
53
good.
for 1.
Seifert had a lot of work to do.
Beautiful leafy setting at the Hagley.
Well, I don't. We all want to see, the best player or our favourite players playing in a beautiful way, and when we do see that,
flicked rather uppishly. I don't think he timed that at all, did Vince? I think he was looking to flick it away, probably through square.
Yeah, I want to get a bit square there.
I think got sort of front edged it, didn't he, in a way, and it's just dribbled its way down the track.
Oh, beautiful!
And this one was tossed up, and Vince was looking to sweep, and he kind of swept across it. So that was excellent bowling.
Lovely skills from Mitchell Santner. That was 14 kilometres an hour slower than the previous delivery.
Yeah, it's terrific. And this one is just pushed away to mid-off. They will not take a single. 53 for 1 remains the score. An extremely economical over, just 4 runs from it, which is not bad at all. We are looking at a sort of a panoramic view of the Hadley Pavilion with its Moorish roof.
Yeah, sort of like 3
quite gorgeous
little
sound.
sort of mini sort of canvas volcanoes.
Yeah,
it's kind of a mini mound stand, isn't it? From Lord's, really.
A mini mound, or the pavilion at Hampshire.
Yes, it does look a little bit like that.
Very nice.
Squashed.
Very nice.
And then pretty much all around the rest of the ground, it's grass banks.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
it's kind of the notion now of watching Test cricket on grass banks seems such a it seems so removed from our experience in England, really.
Well, yes, it is. Ish Sodhi's going to continue his second over. And this is lofted by Bairstow. Has he got enough on it? Well, he hasn't got enough to get it to the boundary, but it's more of a chip, really, than a loft. It's sort of bounced well short of that deep mid-wicket fielder, and they will just take a single. So James Vince will be back on strike. England continuing to work the ball. They're not always finding the boundary. In fact, not finding the boundary that often, to be honest.
No, the spinners I think have bowled pretty well by and large.
But they're running well between the wickets. They're keeping it turning over. Sodhi in. Onto his back foot goes Vince, and that one he doesn't lay a bat on.
Now
your Mac's about to go.
We're
about to lose all visual contact.
As Knuckles' laptop, which we're streaming this off, has got to low battery and it's about to go to sleep.
It does. Is that why it's gone so jumpy, or is that just the way they're showing it?
I don't know.
Hello, it's all going horribly wrong.
But it's a good shot, though.
It was. It could be through what looks like a sort of a snowstorm. 4 runs appear to have been scored back down the ground by Vince off Sodhi, beautifully struck again.
1, 2, 3.
Michael has found the appropriate juice.
4.
Ooh. Well, I mean, technically speaking, I think
was a chance.
Sodhi could have done a bit better there.
That one he tries to push down leg, and Vince is forward to clip it away to mid-wicket, but straight to the fielder, no run. 58 for 1 England. We are in the, it won't tell me that just now, 10th over, are we? No.
Yeah, 10th, yes.
Yes, we are in the 10th over. That one's
9th
over. Another single is worked away to leg by Vince. Bairstow will be back on strike. No, he won't, because it's the end of
one ball left.
One ball left.
Yeah, James Vince, another player. You're talking about Darwin Milan. James Vince, this is only his 9th T20 international. A player of his abilities. England are very well stocked for top order batters.
Yeah,
indeed, very much so. Sodhi again. That one's dragged down leg, and Bairstow needs no second invitation, just to swing round and guide it through.
Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
You're going there. Oh, right.
So I'll read some tweets while Hendo and Tony switch over.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Jay Grover says, Tony now sits resplendent, solid, our rock, our anchor, the least wankered. Chris Dobertine says, nice to listen to Guerrilla Cricket with a nightcap for once as opposed to my morning coffee. Welcome, Chris. Whereabouts? You're in Chicago. Lovely city. I say that I've only been once. I want to go more.
It's a bit like an Agatha Christie mystery, this, isn't it? And then there were 3, basically. We started with 5.
Well, the bear is actually awake, I can tell you that much.
He is awake, but I don't think he's much use to man or beast.
Is that
Sandler,
generally or just tonight?
Well, pretty much generally, actually. Sandler continues, left arm round the wicket, bowls to Vince, who swings this away. Out to deep backward square. Here comes the bear. We have roused the bear. They've taken a single. The bear has come in. He's pointing his vape in an aggressive manner. He still has a whiskey in his other hand. And England are 64 for 1. All is well with the world.
Yankee 7000 on YouTube actually wants to know what whiskey you were drinking, Bear. Jameson.
Sandler in again, and Bairstow comes down the wicket and then flicks this away. They'll just get a single out to deep mid wicket. I'm sorry, Tony, I've short-changed you for an over, haven't I?
I thought, what's going on here? I thought, did I do something wrong? All of a sudden, I'm being yanked out my chair.
We're saving Tony for the death.
Yeah, and death it will be. Now, this is thrown up very wide indeed as Vince tried to make yards down the wicket. A clever piece of bowling because they didn't have to stretch the ball, but he managed to steer it out to deep cover and take the one. England 66 points.
Well,
Sorry, my glasses.
I was brought off prematurely there.
Yeah, you were. I don't want to say that. That sounds incredibly rude. In he is again, bowls to Bairstow, and that was foolish. He flicks it away. They're looking for a 2. They're going to have to hurry. It's gone to the non-strikers end, but Vince is comfortably through in the end. England moved to 68 for 1.
You're going to have to be pretty quick to run with Johnny Bairstow.
Oh, Johnny Bairstow is one of the best between the wickets, isn't he? He's a brilliant runner. And, well, it's entertaining, this game. It's a decent game. England are making a good fist of it at the moment.
I think England are pretty well on top at this point.
Santner in again, bowls, and Bairstow.
Oh, was he?
A horrible smear.
Oh, what a catch!
Brilliantly taken by, well, who else would it be but Martin Guptill, diving away to his left, very low down at deep mid-wicket. He's come off the boundary for about, 15 yards or so. And I have to say, in a way, it kind of deserved a wicket, because it was a horrible smear from way outside off stump by Johnny Bairstow. That has no right to be in any proper game of cricket, really. And the fact that he's fetched it, to have got away with that would have just offended all purists. Brilliant catch, though.
You know how you were talking about that catch that Martin Guptill took in the World Cup?
Yeah.
He'd actually dropped a really simple catch in that game too.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, he doesn't make more than one mistake in a game, and that was a tremendous piece of work.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Piece of music,
It's the captain.
It just makes me relax.
Oh, I like that. Yes, that is.
Well, he's gone for 35 from 28 balls. Johnny Bairstow wasn't his best knock, but it, got England going. 68
Scott
for 2.
Kugelheim assisted.
Right, okay. Owen Morgan is coming to the crease.
He is, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Here he is.
Owen Bloody Morgan is out there.
That was written in the wake of his demolition job of Afghanistan at Old Trafford, where he smashed 16 sixes.
I missed that game. I think I was at York watching Yorkshire v Warwickshire.
I was
day.
there.
In comes Santner again. Bowls. Vince, of course, has swapped ends. He drives us very pleasantly again out to deep cover, and it's very well placed, which means they can get back for a second. He's batting very nicely indeed at the moment. Vince on to 23 from 19. It's the end of the 10th over. England halfway through their innings. 73 for 2.
Yeah, batting nicely, but not really going at any great pace. Anna Forsyth says, I'm back after netball. Your commentary will be competing with lots and lots of fireworks. Because Canadians do them on Halloween for some reason.
Oh, really?
Mog says, is it likely tragic that I've already recorded half of the PNG and Dutch teams and have planned out a whole bunch more, and even did some for teams before they were eliminated? No, I think that shows admirable commitment, although it does leave you somewhat of a hostage to fortune if the Papua New Guinea and Netherlands team squads change between now and then, which they may well do. Chris Dobertine says, we have 3 inches of snow in Chicago today, so seeing cricket on my TV and hearing you all on my computer is quite refreshing. And Imagine says, has anyone told New Zealand that they're not allowed to get Johnny Bairstow out? It makes him unhappy. Hashtag entitled to bat forever.
Kugelheim is going to have a second chance. 1 over for 18. He's coming back into the attack with England 70 for 2 from 10.
Kugelheim, you better bowl a good line. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Here he comes, bowling to the left-handed Owen Morgan. He's going to face his first delivery, and Morgan flicks this away. Foolish ball on the pads of the England captain. He'll take a single out to deep mid-wicket. Throw comes into Seifert, and then we'll move on to 71 for 2. Vince 23, Morgan has a single to his name. And Kugelheim is just making a couple of adjustments to his field. On the basis of his previous over, he's going to need to make quite a few of those. But let's see if he can come back and improve.
Yeah, so what was that? It was 35 off 28 for Johnny Bairstow, and he hit 18 of those off 6 balls from Scott Kugelheim.
Right. He's in now to Vince, who pulls the ball. Didn't really get hold of that. He's going to get a single out to deep mid-wicket.
Yeah, so without that, 17 off 22, which is really pretty poor.
Yeah.
which is slightly they sort of call that root maths on cricket Twitter, when you basically ignore part of a sample in order to make a particularly spurious point.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he didn't quite look himself, did he? But, maybe we were misjudging this pitch. Maybe there's just a little bit of stickiness about it.
Yeah, no one's really, apart from Daryl Mitchell and apart from that one over from Kugelheim, no one's really timed anything.
No. So in comes Kugelheim, bowling to Morgan. It's fired across him and quite wide outside the off stump. He can't make contact. It's not a wide, but it was out there testing the guidance mark.
It's quick when he wants to be, Scott Kugelheim, 140 odd kilometres an hour.
Yeah, he's a slightly unusual approach and delivery, quite gangly and quite a lot of moving parts. But
I can tell you, he's holding this cross seam.
I quite like the look of him, strangely enough. He's in again, bowls, and fortunately the computer freezes just for a moment as Morgan chops this down to third man. And they take a single. He goes to 2, 73 for 2.
He's not nearly as good a bowler as Andy Caddick, but he does have that slightly Andy Caddick thing where his front arm appears to be too long for his body, so it sort of has to contort itself at a weird angle.
Yeah, well, and also I think it looks to me as if Kugelheim is probably predominantly an in-swing bowler.
It's very front on.
Yeah, whereas Caddick was quite a good away swing bowler, wasn't he? A lot of the time. Anyway, Kugelheim to continue. No close fielders. He's in, goes wide on the crease, and it's pulled by Vince again. Perhaps just a little bit slow in the way it came on to him. 121 Ks. He'll get a single, deep square leg.
Ravi trying to get me in trouble, saying, could we have Knuckles' feelings on Scott Kugelheim, please, whatever it's legal to broadcast? And then he does my work for me by tweeting me my own article that I wrote about Scott Kugelheim. If you want to know my feelings, read that. It's at knucklepande.com.
Terrible if you read your own article. Well, that's rubbish. I've done that before. Anyway, Kugelheim continues to bowl to Morgan, and Morgan again going back, trying to chop it, but really not getting enough bat on that. It was slightly the underside of the bat.
This is definitely a theme in this game so far, is that batsmen are not timing the ball. It doesn't seem to be. Either the bowling has been extraordinarily good and varied, or the batsmen are rusty, but they're just not. The timing has been off for most.
Yeah, I think that's true a little bit. I think that's true. And it doesn't look like a sticky pitch. I mean,
exactly.
You kind of get that sense, don't you, when you are watching that sort of pitch? And I haven't really felt that.
No, maybe it's just not quite as quick as everyone was expecting looking at it. But you'd think that people would have adjusted by this point in a game.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you don't get out there and you've got to go at the ball early on in these sort of games. So maybe you don't have that time to sort of get the pace of the pitch.
Also, England aren't chasing a huge total. It's a decent total, but it's not a huge total, so there's not as much need to really go on. If they can get themselves needing 8 and over off the last 5 overs, they'll be fine, I think.
Oh, they'll be very confident about that. Anyway, Sodhi is back into the attack, the leg spinner. He's going to be bowling to Vince. He's in. Flattish ball. He gives himself room. Tries to carve that between backward point and short third man, but I think maybe it was Southey running to his left there to pick that up. He's a very good fielder as well as a good bowler and a pretty decent batsman when he puts his mind to it.
It was a decent googly by Sodhi, bowled up with thumb and forefinger.
Here he comes again into Vince on 25. He bowls and he chops this really off the front foot. Very nicely played, but he had to put some effort into that because there was no pace on the ball really. He's picked up another single, 75 for 2.
Really some stats about Owen Morgan the other day. He's probably best used in T20 as a, he's done very well in the death overs, but he doesn't start that well against spin. So he can eat up a lot of deliveries against spin. So it's probably not a bad call from Southey to bring Ish Sodhi back. And the players do look at teams do look at these matchups and what types of bowlers and batters like and do not like to play against.
Well, he's played a really good shot there, actually. He's picked it up as a reverse sweep from just outside his leg stump. You automatically thought he should get 4 for that, but Guptill has run round from deep cover to field that. So I'd say pretty good cricket all round there, really. It's just outside on his leg stump. He's picked it up really nicely. perhaps didn't get it as behind square as he wanted to. But anyway, he's picked up a single. He goes to 3, 76 for 2. Sodhi, and again he throws that wide, but Vince waits for it and then lofts
a
it
shot
beautifully. There's a man at deep cover, there's a man at long off running around, but he can give up the chase because that has gone for 4 runs. Well, I think he got done a little bit in the flight there, or it was pushed a little bit wider than he expected as he came down the wicket, but he adjusted really well. It was good. It was clever bowling. It was clever batting, you have to say.
Yeah, the hands were beautiful there from Vince to get himself out of trouble a little bit. Just made sure he didn't try and overhit it.
He's waiting again. He's on to 30 now, and he gives himself room, and he cuts this time, and he cuts well. He's found the gap there. I think that's going to go all the way. Yes, the man at deep cover can't get around. Consecutive boundaries for James Vince. England 84 for 2.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Love the use of the crease there. That wasn't that short, but Vince was very, very quickly onto the back foot. See how deep he's gone in the crease there, almost treading on his stumps.
Well, I think Vince looks in pretty good form, actually.
Again, he never looks out of form.
No, he looks good to me. In comes Sodhi. He's down the wicket again. This time he flicks it a little bit, perhaps where he wasn't intending, towards mid-wicket. He's going to get another single. He's going to keep the strike.
Hasn't he just got married, James Vince?
Has he?
James Vince who's just got married?
I hadn't read that, but you may be right. And that is the end of the over. He goes into 35.
11 off what wasn't actually a particularly bad over from Ish Sodhi.
No, well, I think that shot that where he got, as I say, he got done to a certain extent. He came down the wicket a little bit early. Sodhi saw him, threw it wider, but he didn't panic, and he just played that shot beautifully over the top of extra, found the gap between cover and mid-off, or long-off, and picked himself up a lovely boundary.
James Vince did indeed get married just a couple of weeks ago.
Ah, well, there you go. Well spotted, that man.
Oh, that might be why his timing is so true.
Yep.
A lascivious comment and a slightly disturbing one.
Well, Kugeline is going to come back. He's on to two overs.
You read more into that than perhaps I meant.
Anyway, he just went for the 4 in his previous over, and he's in. Vince comes right across his crease and then tries to turn it off the straight, but picks up the man at, well, on the 45.
Was Kugeline seriously about a half appeal for RBW there?
Well, I can see to some extent, because look how far Vince has come across, but he's way outside off stump.
That was precisely my point. He's gone so far across that he's actually bodily outside off stump.
Yeah, he was. Well, you know, bowlers, what do you make of them? You know, you know, as a batsman, I've regularly thought that about bowlers. What are you doing appealing? Anyway, here is Kugeline at the end of his run, just trotting on the spot a little bit, then running in to bowl to Vince, and Vince has unleashed the power in his bat and lofted that over long on. It's gone all the way for one of these. Yeah, superb knock this from Vince. He's on 41 from 28. He picked that slower delivery from Kugeline. And of course, he got 46 in, I think it was in the second of the 2 warm-ups at Lincoln. And he must be pretty close to his highest T20 score. I think he's 46 may be his highest score. Gives himself room, waits for that, and then steers it beautifully. Good piece of fielding, though, at extra cover by Ross Taylor. So it keeps them down to 1. It's got that another foot to Taylor's left. That would have been way, would have brought him another boundary, but has to be content with the single. 42 to Vince, 3 to Morgan, 92 for 2. England chasing 154 to win.
Yeah, Vince has just exploded in the last sort of over and a half.
And yet, you don't feel like he's really...
He goes through the gears so smoothly.
Right, exactly. You don't feel like he's really chasing the game at all at this moment. Kugeline then to continue. Bowling to the left-handed Morgan. Right arm over the wicket. Morgan waits for that and then just chops it down very fine. Probably just the one. He turns and thinks about the second, but I think it's Ish Sodhi there doing the work.
Are you a little surprised we've not seen Colin de Grandon bowl yet on a pitch that does seem to be not that easy to hit through the line on?
Well, how many bowlers have we seen so far? We've just seen the 4. Have we got another bowler to come? We've got 7. No, we've been
5.
5 already.
Kugeline, Southey, Ferguson, Sodhi and Santner.
Well, I mean, I suppose you also got to look at perhaps the fact that in some respects New Zealand are experimenting a little bit, and sometimes maybe the result isn't the be all and end all, and they're just having a look at Kugelheim, who's in again, bowls pulled well by Vince, wide of the man on the 45. There's no one down there to stop that. That is 4 more runs.
Kugelheim's been a regular in the T20 international team this year, getting to the team during the India series when India were over in the early part of the year, went to Sri Lanka as well, and has done some decent things for New Zealand, some decent performances, but there's Jimmy Neesham waiting in the wings as well as a potential all-round option.
Yeah. Well, he's gone now for 12 runs in this over. 18 in that first over, just the 4 in the second over that he bowled. He's coming in to complete the over. Down the wicket comes Vince. It's thrown in towards his leg, so in the end all he can do is just turn it away into the onside and pick up the single. He'll take, or rather keep, the strike, and that is the end of the over.
Jay Grover says, right, if I double my porn reviews and try to get someone to pay me to finally read Infinite Jest, I might be able to get 274 bar together in a week. Please don't cut me, Pimp Daddy Hendo. I'm no use to you cut.
Porn reviews?
Yeah, well, he's done a lot of octopus porn. If you remember from the summer.
Porn.
Oh, tentacle porn.
He reviews sort of interactive pornography games. And sort of erotic novels.
And that's a paid
It's
job.
a living. It's a living. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, and he sub-edits them and proofreads. Every books need proofreaders and so forth.
98 for 2. Vince on 47. I think that's his
not quite
highest.
reviewing and sub-editing are two different things.
No, I think he does all of the above.
Vince is, I think that's his highest T20 score, 47. He's going to be facing Lockie Ferguson back into the attack. He's about to bowl his 3rd over. He's coming in to Vince. Oh, he throws that up way wide of the off stump, but cleverly bowled in one sense, because it was quite a slow delivery at 117k, and I don't really think that Vince immediately picked that up, and in the end he just lets it go through the keeper.
No, I mean, certainly with Ferguson, I don't think you're setting yourself for the slower ball.
No, indeed. I see a small child come down some steps and then fall over, which is always good fun. And Ferguson just trotting on the spot, then running in to bowl to Vince. He's in, and Vince just opens the face a little bit. Beautifully played. That's the defensive shot for 4, backward as square. That's just beautiful timing. It's wonderful placement, and that is James Vince's maiden T20 50. Well deserved. He's batted beautifully. And once we can say James Vince has batted beautifully and has gone beyond 27. 102 for 2, England.
Sometimes you drink till you pass out on the floor. Now your liver's destroyed and you got hemorrhoids and you can barely get it up anymore.
That is a shot of a truly class batsman. He drives the next delivery. He has to hurry through for the single. He's hit it quite hard up to mid-off, but he's got there. He's gone to 52. England 103 for 2. 154 is the target.
Yeah, his first T20 international, 50 in his 9th game, 51 off 33 balls with 7 fours and 1 6. Scoring at just over 9 and over. Very impressive.
Yeah,
particularly in the context of a relatively low-scoring game. Not low-scoring, but mid-scoring.
Yeah, I think he's looked top dollar, I have to say, Vince.
A class above every other England. Well,
any other batsman out there today,
apart from maybe Mitchell.
Well, I just think his timing has been a slightly higher class than Mitchell. Mitchell did give it a bit of a bang. Ferguson in, bowls a short one, uppercut by Morgan. Very well played indeed. Very fine towards third man. Picks himself up 4.
He's going great guns. I hit the ball. 4 runs. I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Very clever shot by the England captain. Really well done.
But what was interesting there, Hendo, to me, was how he adjusted the shot. He seemed to set himself for one shot and then realise the ball was going to bounce more than he thought.
I think that's one of his...
Just the speed of, thought in a way.
Adjustment, yeah, absolutely. He waits for the next one that is slow and then just steers it to backward point and runs through for the single. I think that's one of the great qualities that Morgan has, is this ability to be looking for one shot and then just play another. He does change between shots. He can adjust so quickly.
It's a mark of his leadership as well, just his calmness and his decision making.
Yeah, but I mean, also when you're talking about that sort of shot and those sort of shots, you've really got to have your wits about you. You've got to be able to just in a split second. You really have, and that was beautiful.
And it's also, people talk about T20 skills. I'll come back to that point after this ball.
Ferguson in, bowls to Vince. He was trying to turn that on the onside. He just jumped a little bit and caught a bit of glove there and runs out into the offside. There is no run.
Important over for this England in terms of just accelerating their way towards the total.
Just making sure that run rate doesn't get out of hand. I mean, nothing's really out of hand when you've got 8 wickets in hand in a T20. But having the skill to have all of those shots in your locker, to be able to have multiple shots off given deliveries, and in terms of bowling, listening to sort of read a transcript of some comments Harry Gurney made in an interview with Cricket Couch Subhash, who's just relaunched his podcast series.
Oh, has he? Okay.
He was talking to Harry Gurney, and he was saying that whichever field he sets, he wants to have at least 2 deliveries that he can bowl to it. So you can't as a batter, you can't necessarily say from the field what delivery is going to be bowled. And that's an evolution of T20 bowling. It used to be slightly rock, paper, scissors a little bit, but Gurney and others at the top level, and Gurney certainly at franchise T20 level, he is at the top level of death bowling, are kind of moving the game forward.
Southey's back into the attack. It's not a bad ball, but it's very well played by Morgan, who chops it away, stays very side on to that.
The day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
Stayed very side on, waited till it had come really parallel with him, almost under his eyes completely, and then chopped it away. There wasn't much width there. He's played that superbly, really, and picked himself up 4 runs. Southey in again. And where's Morgan going this time? He's going way outside of his off stump, and then maybe just coming back into line a little bit, as that one is a straightish delivery from Southey, but he works it out to deep square leg and takes 1. He's moved on to now 14. England 113 for 2. They need another 41 to win from 5.4 over, so it's well down under 8 and over now that they're chasing, and I think they'll be pretty confident of seeing this through. Vince waits now on 52. Southey, what can he do? What can he produce? Well, he's bowled a length ball, but it's been smashed ridiculously by Vince. I didn't think he was anywhere near that, but somehow he has hit that straight down the ground for 6 runs.
It's a 6. It's beautiful and it's mine.
I think that Vince waits again and then just eases that into the offside, but it's picked up at square cover. Still runs through for 1. What I was going to say about that with Vince, this difference between another beautiful batsman and Ian Bell, and I always thought this about Ian Bell in one-day cricket, or perhaps even T20 cricket, is that when he came down the wicket, he had to play still with a straight bat, and he couldn't unleash that kind of cross-bat shot that we saw from Vince.
So it really limited where he could score.
Yeah, exactly. So he couldn't get that leverage that Vince got in that particular incident or instance. This is right up in the block hole, and Morgan drives it into the ground, back into the hands of
because if you're playing with that sort of high front elbow, that sort of checked drive, you can't break your wrist, you can't get any momentum into the stroke, and you can't, you can only, it has to be pretty much perfect. You're trying to punch it through cover, basically. It's very difficult to loft the ball from that position.
Absolutely, and quite often you'd see Bell get out, sort of caught it deep mid-off, trying to play that shot. In comes Southey, bowls. Now he's swung across the line there, has Morgan. I don't think he made any contact with that. Did hit him on the pad, then ran towards, I guess, what would be a position of about 4th slip. They've come through for 1 leg by. In fact, I think that's been given. Actually, must have got a little under edge on that. And England moved to 121 for 2. Knuckles going to come back. I'm going to go and get some more milk and help with my heartburn. And I'll see if anyone else is awake.
Well, who do we have? But Bear was jumping around in a rather awake manner. Steve, we feel, maybe offered the fairies for the foreseeable.
51 England took off those last 5 overs and have made this a pretty comfortable chase from here. 33 off 30 with 8 wickets in hand. and Vince batting absolutely beautifully, 59 off
He
37 balls. You're listening to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England's tour of New Zealand. You join us partway through the first T20 International, first of 5. There's 2 test matches to come after this. England are 121 for 2, chasing 154 to win. Mitchell Santner's back into the attack. We'll give him a jingle after this delivery. 2 for 21. He's bowled very well, I think, Mitchell Santner. And he's just nudged for a single by Owen Morgan to backward point the England captain. 16 off 13, just playing a supporting hand to James Vince, who has been a class above.
He has. And anyone listening and or watching, now might be a good time to send some of your longer, more complicated tweets.
Don't do that.
Using as many words
of as many syllables
the
as
greatest
possible.
Complexity that you can find.
Short ball
He's
and
gone.
pulled by Vince, and he's picked out Martin Guptill. So Guptill's dropped one catch that probably he was a little bit simpler than he thought. Taken a brilliant catch and then taken a simple catch. Vince is livid with himself, but a great innings. 59 off 38. The best batter on either side by some distance, James Vince today, and I think he's probably gone some way to probably England winning this game quite comfortably.
He'll be disappointed, I think, having got this far.
Yeah, he's
I'm
disappointed.
sure he would have wanted to try and see it all the way.
Yep, third wicket though for Mitchell Santner. He's taken all 3 wickets to fall today. I think that deserves a jingle for Mitchell Santner.
What? Is there a 3?
No, for Mitchell Santner.
Oh, just his name. Right, okay. Oh my God.
It's a wicket.
Already played that. Number 7,
I
number
can
6.
see him. There he is. I've got him.
Santner baby, gets a drift into the pads for me. And an awful good keeper. Santner baby, and earth them in quickly tonight.
Do-do-ba-do-do.
Yeah, I'm also disappointed because it was a ball that he was there for him to hit. Probably it gave him the room to swing his arms, but just hit it too flat, straight down Guptill's throat.
Second catch for Guptill.
Yes, indeed.
An easier one than perhaps the first one.
The first one was brilliant. That brings England's wicketkeeper batter to the crease. Missed England's triumphant World Cup campaign with a badly. I can't remember exactly what he did to his shoulder, but I think it was pretty nasty. But he's back in England colours, and now he's England's T20 vice captain.
The ball through the covers, pinging it deep through backward. Billings is softly scoring runs. Billings is softly hitting long, laying his own shots undeterred. Billings is softly scoring runs.
Sam Billings facing up to his first ball. Mitchell Santner gets this to dip at the last minute and drift onto middle stump. Billings blocks it back to the bowler. There is no run. Santner is bowling really well, but it might not be enough to make that much of a difference. Santner is in, bowling from mid-crease. Down the track comes Sam Billings. He does like to use his feet to the spinners, but that was again held back by Mitchell Santner. 78 kilometres an hour, which is very slow for him. A little bit of turn, I think, and Billings' attempted flick into the leg side resulted in a leading edge, which spooned into the offside and landed just short of, I say just short, quite a way short of Tim Southey at short extra cover. Santner sinks to his knees, ruining his luck.
Not much more than a runner ball. Captain and vice captain at the crease.
Yes, indeed.
You'd like to think.
Isn't that a short fine
just wanna
leg
see
up in
this
the
through.
circle, and everyone else is up on the offside. So I think there might be a little bit of turn out there. That's bowled with quite a lot of overspin, quite tight to the stump. Sam Billings blocks back to the bowler. There is no run. It's really good stuff from Santner. 1 ball left of his spell. He's gone for 1 for 1 in this over. He's in, bowling a little bit wider on the crease. Down the track comes Sam Billings, meets this on the half volley and pushes it past extra cover down to long off. So 2 runs and a wicket off Mitchell Santner's last over. 4 overs, 3 for 24, I think is that for Mitchell Santner. Really, really good stuff from 3 for 23, in fact, even better for New Zealand's canny left arm spinner. But England 123 for 3, needing a further 31 off the last 4 overs, which should be well within their reach.
You would hope so. You would hope so.
We have a couple of tweets.
I'm Knuckle M. Pandey. To my right is Tony Bishop. To my left is Ronnie Birkin, QC.
Very,
very drunk at the time.
I'm very drunk. Joe Grover says, I have no idea where Tony's spec stood with me, but from wherever.
What?
It's alright, don't worry.
Ishodi in to bowl his last over, forming up in the circle at short third man, extra cover, mid-wicket and short fine leg. Sodhi is in, bowls this out of the front of the hand, turns a little bit. Sam Billings goes back in his crease and pushes this out to Martin Guptill on the cover boundary. Throw comes in, they come through for a single. A couple of boundaries for England will make this very, very comfortable indeed, and really just 7.6. England are going at 7.67 runs and over, and need just try and slightly less than that actually. Going very nicely indeed. It's been a pretty well controlled chase with that beautifully boundary-studded innings by James Vince. This is out of the front of the hand again from Ish Sodhi. Not really trying to turn the ball too much so far in this over. Just nudged by Owen Morgan round the corner to short fine leg. They come through for a single. 7.91 and over is what England need. So well within the grasp of such a powerful T20 international batting lineup, as Sodhi is in a reverse sweep by Sam Billings, and really well played. Played that from middle and leg stump, superbly well timed by Sam Billings. He plays that as well as a lot of batters play the forward defensive, and he's smashed that early past short third man for 4.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
They picked the length so early there. Again, sort of rolled out the front of the hand from Ish Sodhi, and recognising that short third man was up, Billings knew exactly what he wanted to do with it and slapped it away very, very nicely indeed. Sodhi is in, fourth ball of the over. Billings making room for himself by going very deep in the crease, and it's a long chase for Colin de Grandhomme from long on, and he's got round, but despite him and Santner doing some relay fielding, it's a comfortable 2 for Sam Billings. Sodhi's just unfortunately conceded the boundary in every over, at least one. Nothing really wrong with the ball that got hit for 4, really, but nevertheless, he's gone for 8 off the first 4 balls of his last over, the 17th of the innings. Billings comes down the track. Sodhi sees him coming, drops it a little bit short, and Billings adjusts his shot and just nudges it into the leg side. Mitchell Santner comes hurtling in off the deep mid-wicket boundary to keep them to a single. Billings on 9 off 8, Morgan 17 off 14. A little bit of a change to the field, the right and left handers. Sodhi, I don't think has bowled particularly badly at any point during this innings, but England have found ways to score off him, such as the life of a leg spinner. He's in, last ball of his spell. Turns a little bit, but Morgan makes room for himself and cuts it out through the vacant cover point region. Santner, who's back at deep point for the left-hander, comes in to field. 10 runs off Sodhi's last over. England 133 for 3 off 17.
Yeah, you'd like to think, I suppose, from an England perspective now that they should be on top of this. As I said, with Billings desperate to sort of show his maturity as well as his shot-making ability, and his captain with him at the crease, then they have the experience, don't they, to see this home. You'd be very surprised were they not to do it.
I think you'd be very surprised if any halfway decent team. I mean, Nottinghamshire collapsed from a far better position than this.
Well, that's true. Yes, they did.
Final stay. Lockie Ferguson is back into the attack. We'll give New Zealand's quickest bowler a jingle. Incipiently mustachioed, I think, perhaps preparing for Movember. Of course, it is the 1st of Movember.
Oh, Lord, it is. So it is. Yes, it is.
In comes Big Lachlan. What a shot that is from Owen Morgan. There's nothing particularly wrong with the delivery. An attempted Yorker, maybe slightly missed his length short, but Morgan, beautiful over cover.
Okay.
He just made a little bit of room for himself, got very low and just lofted it away over Daryl Mitchell. 4 runs for the England captain. Owen Morgan 22 off 16. Southey and Ferguson are frantically waving at someone to not be where they are and be somewhere else, please. What do we have in terms of a field? We have a third man back on the boundary. A third man back on the boundary. Point up. Deep point as well, and mid off, mid on. As this is a slower ball into the body of Owen Morgan. He tries to work this very fine, because I think short fine leg is up, comes off the glove and just drops down behind the stumps. They come through for a single. Morgan on 23. England 138 for 3, chasing 154 to win this first T20 international of the 5 that are being played in this series.
We have tweets.
Excellent.
A smashed bear on tweets. How brave is that? It's quite brave.
Who's that tweet from, Bear?
Sally R.
16 off 16 needed for England to record a victory. The full delivery, almost a Yorker from Lockie Ferguson. Perhaps a little bit of swing there, which is unusual for a ball at this stage of the innings. Dug out by Billings. Back to the bowler is no run. Yeah, the other T20s in this series have been played at the Cake Tin Stadium in Wellington, the Saxon Oval in Nelson, McLean Park in Napier, and Eden Park in Auckland. And all of those, apart from the fourth, are at 1 a.m. starts UK time. The other one is at 1:30 p.m.
1:30.
1:30, 5:30, and a 1:30. Yes. Not quite sure why Napier is the only one that's later. Big hit from Sam Billings to a ball that would have taken out off stump, but he got the thick inside edge on it, and it rolls past the keeper, rolls past the stumps for 4.
That's the sort of luck you get when the momentum's with you, isn't it?
And your batters probably haven't set you enough runs.
Yeah, inside edge, and off he goes.
Again, Ferguson, I don't think has bowled badly. I think he really troubled Darvin Milan in his first over, beat him for pace pretty much every ball.
Yeah, Milan won't be happy with his night's work.
No,
I
absolutely.
don't think, in any way,
for a player who does play pace bowling very well, Darvin Milan.
By and large, he does, yeah.
As Ferguson is in, a big jump he has at the crease, bowls full and into the pads of Billings, digs this sort of leg stump Yorker out up to mid on. They come through for a single, 143 for 3. Daryl Mitchell and Tim Southey giving Lockie Ferguson some advice. I cannot imagine what advice they're giving him. For the left-hander Owen Morgan, we've got a backward point, a cover and a mid-off up in the circle, presumably a men back at third man and deep point as well. And we've got a mid-wicket and a mid-on up in the circle, and deep square leg and deep fine leg back. So possibly some bouncers coming to Owen Morgan, which he was troubled with bouncers during the World Cup every now and again. That's crashed away by Owen Morgan as Lachlan Hammond Ferguson tried to angle this across him. Morgan cut it out backward a point. Martin Guptill comes around to field. They come through for a single. So that's 11 off Lockie Ferguson's last over. None for 28 he went for in his 4. Not bad, but not enough to make a real impact on the game. England 144 for 3. Need just 10 more to win from the last 2 overs.
10 from 12, indeed.
Should be facile.
Facile.
Non difficile. As opposed
Pas
to difficile.
Pas difficile. In the words of Monsieur de Grandhomme, who hasn't bowled, as you pointed out. Nicole.
Yeah.
That's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that he could have been useful on this.
Bear, what's Bear? Bear, why do you think Colin de Grandhomme has been held back and not got a look in here?
It's kind of odd with Colin, actually, because they...
Colin de Condom.
Yeah, but they kind of hold him back a lot. Is it the same in the World Cup, occasionally?
6 men up in the circle, I think Tim Southey's got, as he's brought himself back on for his last over to the England captain Owen Morgan. Hot captain on captain action as Morgan tries to cut Southey away through that offside field. It misses through to the keeper. There is no run. Let's get a jingle for the
Mr. Southey,
New Zealand captain.
I absolutely think we could. If I can just find him here, he'll be... Where is
Number
he?
9. Number 9.
You even have them numbered. Is there a logic in the numbering?
You
haven't actually filed them by their shirt numbers, have you?
Oh no, it's batting order actually.
Oh, or is it? Okay. I was going to say that would be too...
No, that's Tim Southey.
But we don't actually have cards for number 77 and so forth.
Tim Southey.
Or indeed number 38, which is Tim Southey's
it's
number. It's full and driven by Owen Morgan, and mid-off has made a complete hash of that, diving and rolling to his left. Mitchell Santner, and to make matters worse, he's fallen on his shoulder, but I think he's fine. 4 runs.
2, 3, 4.
Very nearly a good Yorker by Tim Southey, just a little bit too full and ended up at a low full toss, but Santner should have done a lot better. He's a weird fielder, Mitchell Santner. He can be brilliant, but he can sometimes make the easy look very, very difficult. Length ball and smashed by Owen Morgan up in the air. That's 6 runs, and that, I think, has finished it. Yes, it has. The England captain finishes it in style. He finishes 34 off 21, and England with how many balls to spare? I think 9 balls to spare have won the first T20 international at Christchurch by 7 wickets, and with James Vince in absolutely glorious form with his 59 off 38. The rest was pretty simple. Morgan finished it with a flourish there. He ended up with 34 not out off 21. Sam Billings 14 not out off 11. Not a great outing for David Milan, 11 off 13. Never looked comfortable at any point. Johnny Bairstow smashed 18 off Scott Kugelein's over, but 35 off 28. No more than middling. 3 wickets for Mitchell Santner, 3 for 23, by a mile the pick of the bowlers, although I don't think Lockie Ferguson bowled particularly badly either. And New Zealand just really never recovered enough from that start to set a challenging total.
No, they didn't. And to be honest, England looked pretty assured in the chase, as you say, apart from Dawid Malan. It didn't seem for a while like the easiest pitch to slap the ball away on, but England seemed to just sort of ease their way into their stride, didn't they?
Pretty much. I mean,
once they got there, it never looked like being any other result. But this is a 5-game series, and we know that 50% win ratios are pretty average.
Yeah, I mean,
first blood to England, 4 more. It could still very easily go anyway.
I don't think that we'll see unchanged teams pretty much from match to match throughout the series.
They are going to change them around.
I think both teams will make changes from match to match. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Tom Banton in the next T20 international rather. We've got Sakib Hamu, we've got Matt Parkinson waiting in the wings. Joe Denley's injured, unfortunately.
We don't know the seriousness of that, do we?
We do know he's out of this game.
He's definitely.
Someone in our YouTube comments said that he's both a better batter and bowler than Adil Rashid, which I don't think even the biggest Joe Denley fan, which may be Joe Denley, would think that he's a better bowler than Adil Rashid.
Yeah, he's a fairly modest lad, Joe Denley.
But Adil Rashid is a world-class white ball spinner.
Well, there we go. England have won by 7 wickets.
Yeah.
It was a comparatively comfortable stroll.
Set up by a pretty good
over left.
Set up by a pretty good all-round bowling performance. 2 wickets for Chris Jordan, 1 wicket for Sam Curran on T20 international debut, 1 for Adil Rashid, 1 for Pat Brown on T20 international debut. But I think the pick of the bowlers was Tom Curran, the only one who didn't get a wicket, going at 4 overs, 1 maiden, none for 25 is very, very good indeed. But yeah, a comfortable and clinical victory for England, studded with some glory from James Vince, which is all well and good. So join us again in a few days. I don't think we'll spend too long wrapping this up. In fact, we've pretty much done the post-mortem. So join us again on Sunday morning, UK time, at 12:50 a.m. UK time.
That's right, where we will be commentating for the match from Nelson.
No, it's on the next one's at the Westpac Stadium in Wellington. The Cake Tin Stadium in Wellington, which is a big bowl of a thing near the docks. You look out for cruise ships very near the docks. Sometimes the cruise ships are bigger than the stadium, which is quite alarming given the size of the Westpac Stadium. But join us again for that at as I say 12:50 a.m. UK time. Most of us will be back for that. Hopefully not quite as drunk.
No, Bear, are there any more final tweets you'd like to read for the world?
Mog's having a go at me.
Oh dear.
Get him off the tender.
Play the playoff music.
I demand you entertain me, god damn it.
I think we have. I hope we have.
I think I have.
Theme
I'm
tunes.
smashed.
Go into theme tunes.
Yeah.
And as I say, join us again, and please do give us some money on patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. One of you has already done so. We'd love more of you. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye.